I didn't officially meet Kevin Miller until I would say the fall of 2020, sometime around October, November of that year, right after I had moved back home to Arkansas after spending 3 years in Texas. And this was around the time I moved back in March of 2020, right around the time when everybody thought the world was ending because of COVID. And, we're all just trying to figure out our own things to do while social distancing. And that's pretty much what I went back to doing, what I always do, and that is some sort of sports and sports coverage. And at that time, I was very, very green. I'm still fairly new, but was very green in the business, and really was just trying to form connections, was trying to just get to know coaches, all those different things. And I received a direct message from Kev on, again, it was sometime around October, November of 2020, and it was on Twitter. And it basically just said, hey, I do a lot of sports, and I had heard of him before, just kind of watching some video clips on social media and all those things. And he gave me his number and we hopped on a call. And I'll be honest, I was kind of a little bit confused because I'm like, why is this guy that I don't know? And I really, this is the first time I've ever talked to him in my life. Like, what is it why would he want to help me? Like, what business does he have doing that when he's trying to build his own brand and all these different things? And I quickly realized once we got off the call and once I continued to get to know him, that Kev had probably the biggest servant heart of anybody that I've ever met. He's up there with the best of them. And that's just meaning not only in sports, but just being a friend to somebody, whether that was at his job, of course, with his family that he loved so dearly. He was just a servant anywhere that he went. And he was a great encourager to me. And I can't tell you how many times that I felt like I was maybe fed up with this business. We deal with a lot of things and don't get paid very much for it. So I cannot tell you how many times I would give him a call and just really vent. And every single time it was, remember why we do this. And he would remind me, and he was kind of my voice of reason, for lack of a better term. And really, from that point on, we just continued to get stronger and stronger. And we did a lot of things together, also alongside many of the people that are involved in coordinating this event. And after he had put together, he kind of was the leader in putting together the basketball media days that went on last October. And of course, the next thing that we had in mind was football. And unfortunately, he passed away 4 months after the basketball media days, and he didn't get to see this come to fruition. But I have no doubt that Kev is smiling down right now just because of not only this event, but the team camp and just the way that people have honored his memory. Man, it's just been so overwhelming to see people that knew him well, that maybe didn't know him much at all, but just knew the impact that he had on so many different people. And that's the reason why we're gathering here today and also Thursday and Friday, is to do the things that he loved to do in his honor, because at the end of the day, that's really, other than, again, his family and his work, that was right up there with the most important things. Important things to him was bringing coverage and bringing exposure to the state of Arkansas, to our athletes. It didn't matter whether you were the last one off the bench or you were a blue chip, 5-star recruit or a NBA lottery draft pick projection in the next few years in basketball. It didn't matter to him. He wanted to help anybody that he could. And I'm so thankful for the friendship that he had, or that I had with him. And just that I had the chance to know him. I only had a chance to know him very closely for about 4.5 years. But hopefully through events like this and things in the future where his name is involved, that will just continue to help his legacy live on and on and on, when those of us that are helping continue that go on are no longer here either. So I want to personally thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I want to thank First Community Bank for their hospitality, for the amazing hosts that they have been to us, and all of our sponsors. We've got some great sponsors that have really stepped up and been a big part of this event. So we thank you so much. And again, thank you to those who are watching and following this and also understanding the reason why we do it. I hope you all enjoy these next 3 days. It's going to be a great honor being able to welcome over 60 teams from across most parts of the state of Arkansas. And hopefully this will just turn into something bigger and bigger each year. Thank you all so much. And I hope you enjoy this event. It's going to be a packed 3-day extravaganza that we are so excited about.
Okay, welcome back to session 2 of Big Miller Basketball Media Days. Up next, we have Forest City High School boys basketball with head coach Marcus Britt leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, we're doing awesome. Thank you guys for coming out, giving us a little time. First of all, give an introduction of yourself and introduce some of your players you brought with you.
Okay, good deal. Coach Britt, Forest City, 5th year coaching as a head coach down there in Forest City. To my far left, I got senior guard Marcus Britt Jr. Next by him, I got Jarvis Palmer, senior guard. On the far right, I got junior Jamarian Morris, he's a guard. Also, Monsieur Gaines, he's a guard.
Coach, talk about last season all the way up and coming into this season.
A little bit about last season. We had a smaller group. This is actually my first group. I can start like a big lineup from 6'6" to 6'5", 6'3", and I can kind of mix it up a little bit. But last year, my tallest guy was probably about 6'2". My shortest guy was like 5'6", 5'5", and that caused the issue because we played against Little Rock Christian in the region, and they kind of gave us a problem with their height and athletic ability. Exactly.
So you guys finished second. Was it second in the conference?
It was second. It was second in our conference.
Yeah.
It was a dog fight between us and Brooklyn. You know, Brooklyn, Coach Gross, he had them guys playing the correct way. And like I said once before, size gave us a problem. So now it's kind of reversed. Hopefully we can give our opponent a problem later on down the road.
Talk about your non-conference schedule, Coach. Going into your conference schedule, just how important is that non-conference schedule? I know you got the matchup showcase on your non-conference schedule. You're going against a powerhouse in Central with them coming off a championship run. Just how important is it, to schedule games like that on your schedule, going into your conference?
Oh, like I told my guys last week, I think personally we have the toughest non-conference schedule there is. The reason I said, like you said once before, we got Central, and also we go to Farmington December the 12th through the 14th, and then we go back to Fort Smith on the 19th through the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. And those are some pretty good ball clubs in their tournament, in their showcase. Also, we got a Thanksgiving tournament, Rumble of the Ridge. We got Little Rock Hall. We got Pine Bluff. We got Laverne. We got Marianna as well, and those are some pretty good ball clubs.
Yes, sir. So this is for the players. Coming off a 13-2 conference, just how is that the success that you all was, experiencing at that moment, how is it translating coming into this season, starting with you, Mr. Morris?
It's good because this year we could do better than we did last year, and we got bigger players.
Well, I said helps us a lot because, I mean, I feel like it'll transition over to this season. I mean, we are very much better than we were last year. That's in my opinion, so that'll be good for us.
I say there's the brotherhood we got and just the chemistry.
I would say the brotherhood and just the team chemistry we got, how long we've been playing with each other. That'll be a big difference.
I say the add-ons we got as well. We got him coming back from Springdale, and we got other players coming in as well.
So, Marcus, let's talk about your leadership role this year and how, your leadership would play a big part in your team being successful this year.
I have some issues with doing that, but I feel like I can get better as a player. But if I step it up a little bit, I think I can get us win.
What about you, Jarvis?
I feel like I got the big brother role, and the young dudes look at me as an example. So I just try to set the example for them.
So, Coach, what's some of your biggest challenges coming into this season for this group?
Like I told my guys yesterday, to be exact, it's just communicating on defense. Once they communicate on defense, everything else will play out for itself. Like, for example, if we don't communicate on defense, I have us do some kind of punishment towards the end of practice to get us all on one page.
Yeah. What's this team identity?
I would say our grit and our willing to win. Like I said once before, these guys, we try to hang our hats on the defensive end, but I tell them once 2 or 3 days ago, like, offense is going to take place for itself. So we try to do a lot of stuff without the ball, without ball movement, back screens, just anything different, like to get them playing together.
You know, Coach, it's interesting that you said the first word that came to your mind was grit, because when you were playing in high school and playing in college, watched numerous games of you in high school and college, and you were a dog. You played with grit. You could also score the basketball, but it seems like number one with Marcus Britt was a dog. How do you take that, your game, and try to teach, the players that you're coaching?
I try to instill that in my players from day one. I'll give you an example. When I did go to the University of Arkansas, I was like the number two player coming out the state. So I had to find a role with John Pelfrey, and that role was playing defense. So I leaned my hat towards the defensive end.
So, Coach, I had a chance to watch you guys in the Big Miller team camp, and I must say this team is expected to make some noise this year. The team is playing fast, and like you said, I've seen them playing with grit. So give us an example on your philosophy, your mindset when, your strategy coming with this team, considering the players you have.
Well, my style of play, my strategy overall is going to be, like I said before, defense. Offense going to take place for itself, and we're gonna have fun doing it. Like I tell my guys all the time, like, we can be the best team in the state, but are you willing to do the things to be that best team in the state?
Mm-hmm. So what's some of your strengths and what's some of your weaknesses with this squad?
My weaknesses are communication on defense. Our strength is scoring the ball at a high level. I think I got 5 or 6 guys that can score the 20-plus points in every given night.
All right, Marcus, got to ask you. Oh, what am I doing hitting this? Got to ask you, like we've asked all the coaches' kids that are here. You're obviously a team leader. As Chris was just talking about, I remember when your dad came out and played for the Razorbacks, and just what is it like balancing that home life and also balancing on the court?
I know, like, he's going to help me and do the positive things for me. But at the end, I know, like, it's going to be a better outcome, Like, at home, I know he's cool, chill, but at the gym, he's all on my butt, about the little stuff,
Coach, what's some of the players that's not here that's going to be a big impact on your team?
I actually have 3 guys. One of them named Kendrick Humphrey. He's a guy that moved from Parkview. He's 6'6". Kendrick Patterson, the 6'4", sophomore. He's going to be pretty good. And O'Neal Winfrey. Those are all my big guys that are going to be playing in the middle, that anchor in the middle.
Coach, just how important it is for your team to get out to a strong start, to get out to a strong start of the season, to help them get that momentum.
To be honest with you guys, I don't think that might be a good idea to get to a strong start, just to humble them a little bit, because like I said once before, actually these guys I have now, I coached them when they was like in the 4th grade, and now they are all seniors, so that's always a plus. Like, the chemistry going to be there. But go back to your question, I think it would be okay to get off at a strong start, but then again, it's not okay to get off at a strong start, because I don't want to, like, kids nowadays, if they start winning, it's hard for them to listen to the coach. So, I don't want them to get off to a strong start, but then again, I do want them to get off to a strong start.
Right. What's the biggest adjustment you have made from last year to this year with this team?
My biggest adjustment is letting the offense flow more freely. I tend to try to like pinpoint the little small things in the offense, and as of right now, I kind of stand back and let the offense work for itself.
Yeah. So with the players, Talk about the chemistry you guys are gaining, you know, and building under coach.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the chemistry actually, as Coach said, already been there since, I mean, he's been coaching us since like 4th or 3rd grade, and the guys, I've been around the guys my whole life too, so I mean, the chemistry's been there. It ain't doing nothing but getting stronger. That's all I could really say.
I would say I know our strong suits, and like as the guys I grew up with them, like I know where I can like play make for them and just give them a good shot, you know.
The chemistry is with the guy. We've been around each other since we really were little with Coach Jarvis and Coach Britton them. So when we come in the gym, I trust anybody that's up here with us because we all can shoot, drive, play defense a little bit. So.
Okay, Coach and players. So obviously, you know, last year there's a team that, you know, that motivates you. Where you was right there, you might slip through your fingers. What's that one team that or player, coach you might want to go against, or you're looking forward to playing?
Well, in the showcase, you kind of changed on me. It was Leroy Christian, because I kind of want to give him a get back, and you know, it switched. But you know, that's the team I did want to play at first.
I'd say Westside, because man, I forgot his name, but I know his last name, Honeycutt. He hit a tough shot in the corner, fade for game.
Want that game back?
Yeah, it's West Side for sure. I mean, I think we beat them early on in the season, and then I think they beat us too. And it was a real close game, and it all came down to the final shot, and he hit a fadeaway 3-pointer in the corner. And it was just heartbreaking.
West side. Coach drawed up the play, but when you listen to Coach Trey, he did the shot that Coach Trey put on the board, and he made 3 in the corner.
Coach, talk about that moment from West Side that they won that they alluded to. Talk about it.
We was in the regional tournament. No, we was in the district tournament, and if we won the game, we would have went to the district championship game. Honeycutt, that kid, he's special, first of all. Like I said once before, we tried the link I had towards defense, and he just made a tough shot. I had Marcus Britt Jr. to guard him at the end, and he could test the shot, and it was just a tough shot he made.
Knockdown.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I'm pretty sure that game is living rent-free in these guys' head, and I'm pretty sure it's motivating them to come back with a vengeance. So with that said, we appreciate you all. This concludes the interview. Thank you for coming out, giving us a sneak peek inside you guys' outlook for the season. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay, we're back. We have Marianna High School boys basketball with head coach Vernon Wilson leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing good.
Coach, thank you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to get a sneak peek on you guys. With that being said, introduce yourself and introduce the guys and fellas that you brought along with you.
Okay. My name is Coach Vernon Wilson of Marianna High School, and I've been there. This is my third year. This is my third year there. Let me raise it up. And to my right, I have my associate head coach, Darius Williams, and he's a great help to me. Wouldn't be successful here at Marianna without him. Right here, I have the junior, 6'6" junior, Jamari Anthony, currently holds an offer from UAPB, getting a lot of interest, and he's going to be a big help for us. Then I have 6'5" senior, Lamontrell Jones. He's getting some interest, a lot of JUCO interest right now. He's All-State his sophomore year, and he was All-State freshman and sophomore year. Then to the left, far left, LaShawn Gamble, 6'2" guard. Just a great shooter, great all-around player. He'll hold the best player every night. That's it.
So, Coach, talk about your last season and even coming into this season. Give us a little insight on just how that is. Good.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I said, so, give us some insight on last season, heading up into this season.
Okay. Last year was a heartbreaking year at the end for us. My first year, we went 14-0 in conference champs, district champs. And last year we went 14-0, conference champs, district champs. Got to the first round of regional against the reigning state champ, EPC. We were up 1 with, I think, 6 seconds to go. We had the ball out, just get it in and get fouled. Our player loses the ball, they go lay it up. So no state tournament again for us for the second year in a row. But, we look back on that and we learn from it. And the guys are really, they're eager to get ready and get back to it.
So, considering that success that you had and the heartbreaking loss, what's some of the changes rather that you have implemented to help to make sure that those things don't happen again?
Hey, just taking the little things very seriously, man. Catching the ball with 2 hands, securing the ball, working on those things and really hitting on those things and just really getting back to the basics. We're one of the most athletic teams in the state, I believe that. But we're just getting back to the basics, talking on defense, and really hammering down those fundamentals every day.
Talking about coming up short, especially last year, the way that one ended. I know the past is the past, but you know what it's like to get to the top of the mountain. You won that state championship your last year at Osceola. So is there some things that you maybe take from those Osceola teams, particularly the state championship ones that you use now with your team?
Oh, yeah, they probably get tired of me referring back to Osceola in practice every day, but we had dogs in Osceola, and that's what we're building here. This is my third year here, and my third year in Osceola, we won a state championship. And it was because we had changed the culture in 3 years, and I feel like I'm getting that feeling with these guys. Not saying we're going to win it all, but I'm getting that feeling that we can get it done.
So, Coach, when you're talking about changing the culture, what is your culture? What is that coaching philosophy that you're bringing to Marianna?
Man, it's grit. It's having 15 dogs on the team and really going after each other every day in practice. I tell them they can be friends after practice, but we're enemies in practice. We're just dogs. We go at each other and make each other better on a daily basis. So, and we hold these guys accountable. That's part of the culture, discipline and grit.
So this is to the players. Considering the 14-0, back-to-back 14-0, and then to get there, and for that moment just to come crashing down. Talk about how that moment has changed you all's perspective coming into this season.
Changes my perspective in a big way. Going in every game with a chip on my shoulder, making sure to be every team by a lot.
I just feel like being precise and accurate, you know, like we take film study very serious. It comes down to the little stuff, how we prepare for the game. The little stuff is what, you know, makes the big stuff easy for us. Like our problem on the court, we're going to be great for sure this year. But stay tuned. Just stay tuned.
I say we went into that game thinking we couldn't be beaten. That humbled us. That humbled us so much. Now we think we got
So, you know, I hear you saying that you got a chip on your shoulder now. You got to be precise. How is the accountability, you know, amongst you all and the camaraderie amongst you all now?
I feel like coach is very big on seniors leading. And I feel like I got to take that as a role. I already have, but, you know, that's a major role. And like I said, start with the little things. So just being precise and accurate. And, you know, we up here, junior, but also I got to set the tone. When it come down, my role may not be to give you 15 points. My role may be to give you 10 rebounds tonight. Or his role may not be to give you 5 steals. It's made for him to give us 10 threes tonight. You know, so it's the little things like that that bring us together.
Can you repeat what you said?
So I was asking, you know, the accountability, the camaraderie. How is that on your team now, considering, you know, the season you guys had?
Like Trill said, he holds the leadership on the team. If Trill not there to hold the leadership on the team at practice, if Trill got to go to work, I'm the one that hold accountability for the leadership on the team.
Coach, you got to enjoy hearing answers like that right there.
Yes, sir.
Say, I might need to score tonight. I might need to rebound tonight. I might need to play defense tonight. Going back to what you were talking about earlier, though, go back again on you know what you're expecting from individually from these guys, not only production on the court but leadership off the court, and some of the guys you didn't bring today.
Oh man, like I said, we start in the classroom first. We hold, and this is something we did in Osceola. All those years I was in Osceola, from 7th grade all the way, I was there 13 years. Our guys were held to a high standard on and off the court. They had to have a 3.0 GPA. That was the standard. We wanted to raise the bar on that, and we just believe if you act right in the classroom, you'll do well on the court as well. So we're holding guys accountable for little things. If your shoe's not tied the right way, we're gonna run you. So it's just the little things. And they think I'm a butthole sometimes, but if you're late, we're running you. You know, if you miss practice, we're running you. So it's just, those are some of the things that we did in Osceola, and we had great success with that. And, you know, Sean Gamble, man, he's a player. And a lot of people don't know about him. He can shoot the ball. He can get to the rim. He's aggressive. This kid, he's a man-child inside. We had coaches asking me, man, is he your assistant coach? Seriously. He's built like a man, plays like a man. And this kid here is a freak, man. He never gets tired. I don't care how hard we run him. He's the highest motor I've ever coached. Seriously, I've been coaching 20 years. His motor just runs and runs. That's why he got an offer as a freshman to a Division I program. So his motor is just high.
Going along with that, I wanted to ask you that. I used to talk to you about some of your athletes at Osceola, and we talked a little bit about just the talent in the Delta overall. With Jamari having the, you said it's UAPB, the D1 offers got. So, you know, with those coaches coming in and, you know, other coaches might not, you mentioned your 2 other guys that kind of, at least as far as to like maybe college coaches, still a little unknown. So what does that do for you guys when, you know, a D1 coach comes in, looks at him, but then says, hey, well, you know, this guy's pretty good too, and it just continues to add up?
Yeah, you know, I did AAU basketball for 25 years in Northeast Arkansas, and we went up against some of the best talent in the country and made it to Final Fours with local kids from NEAs in a national tournament. So, you know, it just tells you what we have in Northeast Arkansas. the talent, and you know, when coaches, like I always tell my kids, when we go to a big game and play against ranked kids or kids that are highly recruited, you have to perform. Because guess what? When you're in there, when you're in that game with that top recruit and the colleges are there to see him, the college coaches, guess who else they see? They get to see you. So, and I've always been one that, as a coach, we don't run from smoke. We want to play the best. You know, people call me, man. It's, you know, we played Conway and Russellville last year. They was like, man, why would you go play them? Because we want to play the best. We want to play people that can play and see what we have.
Speaking of that, the non-conference schedule. I don't know if you tapped on it or if it doesn't mean anything, but let's talk about that non-conference schedule and how it's preparing you for that, you know, tough conference schedule that you're going to be facing.
Yes, sir. November 19th, I believe, we but we play Blyville. Blyville comes to me. We're a 2A school. We're playing a lot of 4As and 3As, but that's by design. We sprinkled a tough non-conference schedule from start to finish this year. We've got Osceola coming in, Earl twice, Brinkley, Bay. Bay is really good this year. Forest City. We're in the Rumble. We're in the Highland Tournament. Who else we have? Who else we got? You know, England is in our conference this year, but they're tough. So you add 2 or 3 more tough games in your conference with England coming in. So it's really going to be a fun year, and I'm looking forward to it. We get a rematch with EPC. We go to EPC, you know, to play them in a non-conference. So it's going to be exciting.
Okay. Okay, well, with that said, that concludes the interview. We appreciate you guys coming out, giving us the opportunity. Good luck on your season.
All right, thank you all for having me.
Okay, up next we have Nettleton High School boys basketball with head coach Luke Tate. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well. Thank you for having us come to Central Arkansas today.
Man, it's a pleasure having you guys. First off, introduce yourself and introduce the people you brought with you, please.
My name is Luke Tate. This is year 3 at Nettleton. I'm actually kind of in an interesting situation. I was our interim head coach last year. Coach Deaton is back. If there's any questions on that, Coach Deaton's healthy. He's going to be back for this season. So I'm back in my assistant role. We've had some questions about that stuff. He's actually a principal, and all of his principals are gone today, so he had to stay at school. So we get to have a lot more fun than him. But this will be my 3rd year at Nettleton. To my right is our other assistant coach, Danny Salazar. To my right here is senior Jacoby Jamison. To my left, senior Vince Hardaway. And on my far left, TJ Whitney. He's a junior this year.
My apologies, Coach. Assistant Coach Luke Tate, my bad. Let's just talk about last season coming into this season.
So last season, it was interesting. You know, we started out the year. We're in an interesting situation as a 5A school. Coach Deaton and Coach Salazar and I have talked. We're one of the, I think in the 5A level, kind of us and Pine Bluff are 2 of the schools that really share football players and still have success in football and basketball. So we kind of wait till mid-November, early December to see who's actually going to be with the team, and we've already played some games. So December and November is a stretch for us. We're trying to figure some stuff out. It's going to be the same this year. Last year we played a tough schedule, went to Northwest Arkansas and played tough teams, played Springdale, got matched up. We always play Brooklyn each year most of the time. We play in the Hurricane, played a really good Rossview, Tennessee team, lost them by 1 point to get to play our rival Jonesboro in the semifinals of that tournament. Coach Deaton actually had a health concern, and he had to step away for a second, and that's where we kind of found out what we were about last year. We knew how our conference would be and what we have to do in the non-conference to get ready for that. We had a really good group of seniors, and some of these guys were juniors and sophomores, and we just banded together with the help of me and Coach Deaton and Coach Butler and Coach Salazar to make a run and get our first conference championship in 10-plus seasons at Nettleton.
Yeah, so, you know, speaking about last season and you know, the ups and downs, what about your outlook and goals coming in for this season?
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster ride, and I think we learned last year that if you can kind of manage that, don't get too high, don't get too low, still enjoy the wins and success, but you know, even after that success off the conference championship, we ran into a buzzsaw in the state tournament and got knocked out early to a good Jacksonville team. So I think this year the goal is we want to win the conference again, and we know what we have to do there, but it would be amazing for the town of Jonesboro and the school of Nettleton with the rich history of NEA basketball for our school to be one of the ones that makes a run this year.
Yeah. So talk about, you know, some of the things that that hindered you from going to the next level and how you plan on attacking it.
We had good size last year. We're not going to be as big this year. But this year, I do believe we can put 5 guys on the floor that can score the basketball. I think if some teams watched us, they kind of knew who was going to shoot the basketball for us. If you watched us, Taylor Smith, who was the conference player of the year, he was going to take most of our shots, and some of our success was if he had a big night. Kobe had a really big season last year. He was probably our second leading scorer, but at times we kind of sat and watched what some guys were going to do. You can ask these guys a little bit, and Coach Salazar, I think this year you can see from the summer and leading up to now, it's a lot more flow on offense, and teams have to guard us differently. You can't just kind of key on one guy or sag back off people because they can hurt you this year. So definitely being more focused on offense and being able to attack people in different ways this year will help us.
So for the players, so considering how last season went, right? So what's some of the motivational factors that you guys are talking about amongst each other to help to get you ready for this season?
I feel like coming off a conference championship, you know, you held a high standard, and then going into state, getting first rounded for, you know what I'm saying, for a second year, it's kind of, it got to hurt. Like, you know, we just got to use it as motivation.
Going off what he said, it's going to be like a big target on our back after coming off conference championship last year.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, so, you know, considering that, I know the off season, the summer. What's some of the things that you guys have been working on individually, far as skill-wise, whether you're shooting, working on your dribbling? What's some of those things that you've been working on to help you get better?
For starters, definitely shooting. Last year, I feel like I scored a decent amount, but I did that without even attempting a lot of threes. So, going on the scouting report, one of the things that most teams are going to say is he can't shoot. So that's for sure the number one thing I've been working on this offseason.
It's really my shooting. That's really always been my strong suit. Been working on my handles a little bit more, too. I might have to bring the ball up the court a couple of times this year.
Something I feel I could improve on to better myself is probably like my guard skills. I played mostly like around the perimeter, but not really. I'm a primary ball handler last year, so I might have to do that this year.
Coach, you mentioned you lost the Conference Player of the Year, and I'm assuming you're not asking one guy to step up and fill those exact same production on the court. Talk about that and how you're going to spread the wealth, but not just production on the court, but also leadership off the court.
Yeah, a big thing, I'll start on the leadership part. The great thing about last year's group, it was a lot of seniors that were very close. We let them kind of pick a shooter shirt every year, and theirs was brotherhood. So that's kind of what that group stuck by, and this group's kind of carried that on. Luckily for us, we get Kobe coming back. Kobe was a big leader for us last year as a junior, and he just kind of filled that role. TJ is a big leader for us. He's a lot more vocal now. He's kind of you will hear him at practice say, we need to get going. Vince is a testament to our team. Vince is a guy that's just kind of had to sit behind some really good guards, and Vince has just kept working and working, and so the team sees how hard he works and the praises he gets, and I think the others are going to follow suit. As far as replacing the Conference Player of the Year, I don't know if there's going to be another Taylor Smith. If you saw how he played, he was electric in transition. He could go. I know a couple games against Marianna and Valley View, he scored 30 basically by himself in the second half a couple times. He played above the rim, but he also helped us defensively, get a rebound and go. This year, there's a couple guys that are not here that are in football, and a sophomore point guard that can really push the pace for us. Multiple guys that once we get that rebound, we're gone. At times, we might have to slow it down on some teams to kind of make sure we're doing the right thing or certain guys in the right spot. We really have 5 guys that can spread the floor, and as long as you get to the areas that we coach, we're going to be dangerous.
Coach, what's that key point on your team or key emphasis about your team that you feel that if we just address this and make that happen, I feel like we can turn the curve?
So a big thing for us is, I think everybody talks about energy and defense, but it's the defensive end for us. We've really, since I got to Nettleton a couple years ago with Coach Deaton, it's been defensively, if we can keep improving on the ball defensively, it's going to fix a lot of things. Since Coach Salazar got here from Blytheville and the success he had there, it's been, can we guard the basketball? It seems like since we've been able to guard the basketball and really made a turn in December last year on guarding the basketball, once we get into conference play, it really fixes things for us. Having high energy all the time. It doesn't matter if you're on the court, off the court, have high energy all the time, but have it in the right way. We have some pretty vocal guys, but we try and teach them, like, have it in a positive way towards your teammates, and we're really asking some guys to really lead in different ways this year, not just scoring the ball or anything, but you got to talk. If you're not vocal for us, you will not play. That's a staple that Coach Deaton has set since he's been at Nettleton, and we're just trying to keep continuing that this year with this group. And I'm excited to see the success we had with a core group of guys for 2 or 3 years, and now it's this guy's turn. And we tell them, you haven't done anything yet. It's your turn.
So with that being said, to each player, how important is it for you guys to get out to a strong start of the season? To give you guys that motivation, to help push you.
I feel like even if everything doesn't go as well and we don't get off to a strong start, it won't be the end of the world for us. We got a lot of guys who can get after it. So later on in the season, if that's what where winning comes, then I feel like that's fine. I don't think we're in a rush to get off to a strong start, even though that's ideal.
I think it's quite important to get out to a strong start to set the tone, show everybody that you're not to be played with,
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's also important to get off to a strong start to keep like the team morale high and stuff like that.
Coach, same question to you.
I think a strong start is important. I think your fans and people in the community look at your record more than anything. And I think some people looked at our record last year when some stuff came out, and we got questions around town like, hey, why are you guys 500? I said, well, go look who we've played. And when it matters, it counted. I think this year, a strong start always helps your team, especially guys that haven't got to see a lot of minutes a couple years. Them seeing success early will be huge for them. But I do know with Kobe, TJ, and Vince, they understand what the end goal is, and they know we have to be playing our best basketball January, February, and early March.
Okay, so in practices, I'm pretty sure you guys got something in practice, a quote or something you say for those guys to hang their hat on. What is that quote?
It's the one big one that we kind of used last year was, what is a Raider? That's what our mascot is. A Raider is someone that attacks their opponent, they plunder, and they take things. And so we've kind of added that to our defense of who we are. We want to go into other people's houses, and we want to take things. So we want to force the issue and not have teams attack us first.
And I always ask this question, what's that one game, one moment last year, that you played, that a game slipped through your fingers? What's that one game or one moment last year that you wish you can get back, or you're looking forward to facing this year?
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
Definitely the state tournament game. Against Jacksonville, we were leading the whole game in a dogfight, and then I know at one point there was a play, and we called the timeout with 2 minutes left, and I looked up, and they finally took the lead by 1 point, and it just kind of stayed at a 4-point game from then on. Another big one for us every year is Marion. In our area, it's been us and Marion at the top of our league since Jonesboro had to move up to 6A, and we've had some really good battles with them the past 2 or 3 years, and we look for that to continue.
Yeah, for sure the state champion or the state finals game. Yeah, for sure state.
Going off what Coach said, yeah, it's really state final game. Really want that back. Also, Marion's going to be good competition too.
I also say Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, with that said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to interview you and get a sneak peek on what your outlook for the season is. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Good luck
Appreciate
to
you.
Okay, up next we have Nettleton High School girls basketball with head coach Kevin Frisbee leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Coach, thank you all for coming, man. I know it was a trip down, but we appreciate it. First off, introduce yourself and introduce the ladies that you brought with you, please.
Yes, sir. Like you said, my name is Kevin Frisbee. I'm in my 3rd year at Nettleton, 2nd year as a head coach there, 10th year coaching overall. We'll go with my left first. Right here we've got Takala Marshall. We call her Bunga. So if you hear me say that name, we're talking about her. I've never called her Takala ever. So, but yes, Takala Marshall. She's a junior for us. Played a lot for us last year. Started as a sophomore. Tore her ACL in April. So she's battling back right now. She's rehabbing extremely hard, trying really, really hard to make it back by January. So we're hoping we have her when conference gets here. Next to her is Kinsley Patterson. Call her KP. She's a sophomore for us. We actually moved KP up at the end of the year last year when junior high ended. And so she's practiced with senior high for a little while. She's got a little tiny bit, a taste of varsity experience, but we expect a lot of big things out of her this year. This is Jessica Collins, and she's already laughing. So she's a senior for us, senior point guard. Jess played for us some last year. She's had a really, really good offseason. Really expecting her to turn some heads and lead the charge. And then next to her, we got Kaylee Franklin. She's a senior. Post for us. She moved in here last year from Riverview, but she didn't move in until about mid-November. So didn't play a lot for us. But I'll say this. So these two didn't get a lot of minutes last year, which really was more of a testament to who we had last year, not a testament to who they are. And I would say we probably had the 2 best scout players in the state of Arkansas last year. So helped us a lot. They helped us a lot more last year than they realized in practice. And then this year, obviously, we're kind of passing the torch to them, expecting them to lead the charge.
So, Coach, talk about a little bit of last year, back end of last year, heading into this season. Talk about it and give us a little insight on just what happened.
So last season, obviously, we had a good year, finished 23-8, went to the state tournament, lost to Valonia first round. Honestly, man, I think we really were in a position to probably have a deeper run if we wouldn't have lost Shakira Brown early in the season. Really, really big loss for us. Really changed the way teams guarded us all season. But solid year on paper. Going into this year, it really is like almost a brand new team. We had 2 players coming back that we expected to have back. One of those was Summer Morgan. She was an all-conference freshman for us. She actually moved to Marion, so we lost her. And then the other one was Bunga. And so obviously we lost 6 seniors that played a lot. Lose those 2, obviously that's losing 8's a big deal. But that being said, man, this off season, in my 10 years of coaching, this has been the most I've enjoyed coaching a team in the off season, just because of how they practice, how they listen, how coachable they are, how much they enjoy being around each other. They just like to practice, which is what I like. A lot of times it's pulling teeth to get kids to do stuff in July or even October. Like right now, these are tough days for a lot of teams because we're sick of beating each other up and all that. But these girls have done a really good job. I can count on one hand the amount of bad practices we've had, which is pretty good. So for a coach, it's been really, really enjoyable just watching them develop and really just seeing hopefully a glimpse of what we can be this year.
5A East for both boys and girls has been a gauntlet forever. And last year we saw that real, like you said, I think y'all started 15-0 before Shakira went down and got in on the 4 seed. And Marion got left out, and they were like 8 games over 500. Yeah. So just talk about, of course, Greene County Tech had that great run. Searcy picked it up. So talk about the depth with not just the teams that are in the state tournament, but really just the conference overall.
Oh, absolutely. We talk about that all the time. These girls know that. They're used to that. It's no different in junior high. So these girls are connected to other girls in the program that have gone through, so they're not surprised by that. We talk about it all the time. I think a lot of times, coaches can talk about, hey, it might come down to this game or this game or this game, but really for us, and they've heard me say this multiple times, in our league, it's not just game to game. It's literally possession to possession to possession because, last year we lose to Greene County Tech in overtime, lose to Marion in overtime. If you win those 2 games, we're the 1. It's literally that easy. Like that's how much it flips. We play Searcy. We have to beat Searcy at their place into the season. They're the 2 seed. You have to beat them to make the tournament, to edge out Marion. And I think we beat them by 2 or 3. I mean, it's a 1-possession game. And so these girls know that. They've seen that. They haven't been, necessarily on the floor a part of that as much, but they know what they're getting into. And the gauntlet is the word we use all the time. And so, non-conference, we're playing Conway, Mountain Home, Bryant. We're going to the Valonia tournament. So, I mean, we're trying to prepare ourselves as best we can for what we're going to see down the road when it matters.
Okay, Coach.
Take your pick.
Yeah, it's the girls' time now. So, Coach just explained about your season. You guys had an amazing season. You're in the 5A East, which is a gauntlet, as Kyle was saying. Let's talk about it. Talk about just how those one game here, that one game there. Talk about how when it altered your season. Talk about how it made you guys feel and how it's feeling you this year.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about it since nobody else will. Okay, so when we lost, we did feel, upset about it. Of course we did. But then after that, we came back. We thought we were gonna win. We didn't win again, and then we played another game, won it, got excited about it, got over the other losses, and then we would go in again and lose again. So that kind of like builded it up to where we had to go to we had to go to the state championship, and we did, and we were fighting to win that, go to the second round, but we didn't. So this year, that got our mindset is, and we have to win this year. We have to do better this year. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Going off of what Bunga said, you could see it a lot from my point of view, because obviously, like he said, I wasn't one on the floor. I transferred in late. But you could see, like when we were winning, you would notice that it's easy to be happy and like keep going when you're winning. It's easy to have the highs, but it's what you do, like whenever things aren't going your way. It's what you do to fix it. And yeah, like he said, all our games, we were 1 or 2 possessions away. So, yeah.
So how do you feel now, after that? Where's the camaraderie? Where's the chemistry at this point? The accountability amongst you all?
I feel like the chemistry from what it was last year to this year, I feel like our chemistry is good, but it's going to be like we're working to build for it to be better. And so we all can play as a team instead of just trying to play as one individual and like try to make it. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the chemistry is good, but it can definitely be better. We lost a lot of key players last year, so we all have to step up, for real.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I'm injured, so now I have to build them up, make them get along better. Me being the only starter left that was coming back, and now that I'm hurt, I have to keep them all together, make sure that they're still a team, make sure that they build the confidence that they need up. So, so we can win games.
Okay. So, Coach, let's talk about that non-conference schedule, how you put that together and how it going to correlate to you being successful going into conference.
Yes, well, I think every coach, pretty much every coach says the same thing. Your non-conference is designed. You want me to pull this up a little bit?
You just flip the mic up to you.
Just the mic. Here, how's that?
Yeah.
Okay. Every coach designs their non-conference to, do one of 2 things. Either you're trying to get a lot of wins or you're trying to prepare your team for the league. And for us, I'll be honest, I'm not concerned with our overall record at all. I really do not care. I care about if we're in that top 4 at the end of February. That's our goal. And so, I mean, from the jump, we started scheduling. I wanted to look and see, okay, who do I think is going to be a state tournament team next year, whether it's 5A or 6A or 4A, whatever. Who do I think is going to be a state tournament level team? And I'm going to start reaching out to those coaches and see if we can play. And sometimes, honestly, at Nettleton, Nettleton's been good for a long time. It's harder to schedule than you think it is sometimes at a school like Nettleton. But, when you're reaching out to Conway and stuff like that, teams that are just, perennial state finals teams, like, I think it's a sign, it's a testament to the program and these girls as well that like Coach Hutchcraft was happy to play us, you know what I mean? Because obviously she doesn't want to waste a game either. So, but we look at things like, who's playing certain styles, because teams in our league play obviously different styles. We're going to see some teams that are extremely athletic and physical. Pretty much every team in our league is very physical, but we'll see teams that play pressure man. We'll see teams that play a really solid zone. So we're trying to pick those out, see what kind of teams in our non-conference can do that to just prepare as much as we can for when we get into the 5A East.
So that 5A East, like I said, is brutal. How do you keep your girls mentally focused? Let them know the overall goal. Yep. How do you keep them mentally focused, so y'all can get past that at that point?
I think the biggest thing is talking about it now. I really do. Because I think, one thing, they mentioned it a little bit, talking about chemistry. I think last year that was our biggest thing. We have kids that last year that have won a lot of games in their life. And, man, we were way too high on the highs and way too low on the lows last season. And there were a couple times that I thought a loss led to a second loss, whether it was because we were mad at each other, they were mad at me, or whatever it was. We did not do a great job last year of doing what you said, of keeping the big picture in mind. Of hardly ever does a team go 14-0 in our league. It's very rare, and so that's not the goal. The goal is not to go undefeated. I mean, the goal, honestly, to me, is to not win the league, and that may sound like a bad thing, but it's really not. If we win the league, that's awesome. But we can be the 1 seed or the 4 seed. We can still make a run no matter what. So we want to do whatever we can to get into that top 4. And so, but I think talking about it early and letting them understand, like, look, there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be times this year where I've got 3 sophomores and a freshman on the floor, right, and that are playing against, tough, senior-heavy squads in our league that have played for years. So them understanding what the process is going to be and what the ultimate goal is, which again to me is to be playing in May. I just think addressing it now is the big thing. And again, man, I praise these kids because I do think this is the kind of team that understands that, and I do think this is the kind of team that win or lose, they're not going to fall apart. They're going to stay connected because they do understand what the goal is, and I think that they want to win, and they're going to do that.
Okay. Y'all have any questions? Good. Okay, so with that said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming down and giving us a little insight on your program and your outlook. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, up next we have Joe T. Robinson, high school boys basketball with head coach Anwar Harden leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well, doing well.
Man, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming out, allowing us to, get a chance to get a sneak peek inside your program.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, real quick, could you give us an introduction of you and the players that you brought with you, please?
All right. My name is Anwar Harden. I'm the head coach at Joe T. Robinson High School. I've been coaching the boys for 10 years. This is my 11th year head coaching the boys. I'll guess go a little bit into the program itself as a whole. The program itself, the last 10 years, 7 out of the last 8 years, we've been in the postseason, which is significant because the 6 years before I got the job, I think we had only been to the postseason 1 out of those 6 years. So the last 7 out of the last 8 years, these guys have helped us get to this postseason. Had a lot of success. Not quite the success that we want. We can't really get over that second round of the playoffs, the state tournament, the quarterfinals. And the last 2 years, we've been eliminated in the first round of the state tournament. So we're trying to get over that hump. We always play. I know this question is coming. And everybody says that we play a tough non-conference schedule. So I know y'all are tired of hearing that over the last 3 days. But we do play a tougher non-conference schedule to try and prepare us for it. So if you look at our overall score, it's never nothing to write home about. So our overall score. Overall record is never really good, but over the last 3 years, we've won like 37 or 38 conference games. So our non-conference schedule has definitely prepared us for conference play. Introducing the players, our only senior that we brought today, we have Bryce Chun right here. He's about a 5'8", 5'9", 5'9", guard. He's really our defensive spark. Last year, we brought him off the bench, and he was just our guy that brought the energy on defense. And whenever we started slow, we could always count on him to just really come in and give us a spark. Now, all 4 of these guys' roles are changing drastically this year because we virtually have a new team. All 4 of these guys contributed, were in the rotation on last year. But I've challenged him. I'm going to talk about a little bit of challenge for each one of them. I've challenged him to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. And he's responded this summer and last spring being a lot more aggressive. It's not very often you see a guy that played as much as he did last year and not even attempt one 3-point basket. That gives you the shot selection, which was a really good shot selection for him last year. But I do want him to be more aggressive this year, and he's responded this summer and this spring. Next, we have Caleb Burns. The rest of these guys are juniors. He's our leading returning scorer from last year. He was second team All-State, All-Conference last year. He can score the ball on all 3 levels. When he plays defense, he can really play defense. When he plays defense, when he shows the effort, and that's part of my challenge to him. One of my challenges to him has been to stay engaged on the other end of the court. Remain engaged. If you're engaged and give me that effort, then that's going to make up for a lot of deficiencies that we may have. But that's one of his challenges. And then another one of his challenges, he's going to get a lot more attention this year. He's going to be towards the top of that scouting report. And he's going to realize this year is going to be a different game. It's going to be a different game. Now when you're towards the top of that scouting report, it's going to be a lot tougher. But I want him to get his teammates involved a little bit more. And he's been trying to step up to that challenge as well. And then we have Braylon Jackson. He's a junior as well. Kind of the same thing with him. With Braylon, last year he played off the bench. And he struggled at the beginning of the year because it was a different role for him. He's always been one of the guys that started and had a huge role, which he still had a huge role for us. He just didn't see it that way. But when he got out of his own head last year and really started playing towards the end of the year, sometimes in postseason, we'll get on the floor, and sometimes he was probably the best player on the floor at times. So we're going to be asking a lot more from Braylon as well, kind of like with Caleb. Stay engaged on the defensive end. That's one of my challenges that I've had for him, and also to get his teammates involved because he's going to get a lot more attention this year on our offensive end, the opposition's defensive end. So we believe he's going to step up for that. And then we have Aiden Macon. Aiden Macon, he came off the bench for us last year. He was kind of our designated three-point shooter last year. But again, that role is changing drastically this year. So we're going to ask him a lot more from him this year, being aggressive on the offensive end. We had to stop practice one time a couple weeks ago, and and he was passing up shots to pass to other people. And, we kind of had a talk open in front of everybody on the court, saying that, hey, we got to have you a lot more aggressive. And he's been stepping up doing that as well. And on the defensive end, he's doing a lot better, keeping people in front of him and everything like that. So that's kind of a synopsis of each of these players and what we're looking for.
So, Coach, let's talk about, last season and coming into this season. What's your outlook? What's some of your goals, expectations from this team?
Well, last year we got beaten the first round by a good Magnolia team, and we were right there. We were one more run from taking that game and meeting Farmington in the second round. So, but we came up a little short. But my main goal now is to put ourselves in a better position during conference play so that we can get a little bit better draw so that we can try it. It'll be a little bit easier to make a little run in the state tournament and everything. So our outlook this year, I like our team. A lot of people are saying, "Oh man, you don't have these guys returning and whatnot." But I like our team. I like our conference is tough. When you talk about Clinton and Morrilton and a much improved PA team, and then you got Heber Springs. Hall is actually in another conference now, but they're in the region. We have a tough conference. We have a tough conference for the 4A level, and we got to find a way to get in that top 1-2. It'd be great if we can go ahead and win that conference championship.
Coach, I'm going to go back to what you were just talking about at the beginning of that point you were making. But the guys you do have coming back, you said, I like my guys I've got coming back.
Yeah.
Let's talk specifically. You talked about making with that's our designated three-point shooter and some scoring here. Tell us a little bit more about some roles of some guys that may not be here. And what about these guys' role, not just production on the court, but leadership off the court?
Well, first I'll talk about these guys again. I feel confident that they're going to be able to step up to it and increase what they were asked to do last year. I do feel confident in that. And it's been really fun, especially this fall, seeing some of the guys that may not have gotten many minutes last year, guys that may be new to the program as far as moving up from 9th grade to 10th grade or been moving in. It's great to see them see opportunity, and then that motivates them. I believe that motivates them in practice because they see, oh man, I might be able to crack this lineup, and I think that has been motivating them, and it's good to see some of those guys that last year I was probably a little bit too scared to put them out there, but this year I feel a lot more confident in putting them out there.
All right, Aiden, maybe the most important question all day. Who's a better shooter, you or Kalen?
I'd say we both have our moments. So I say it could be any one of us either every given day. So that's all. That's what I'll say.
So this is also for the players. So talk about, last season, fellas. Just talk about how, how things turned out and how, looking back at it, how have it motivated you to be better or coming into this season with a different mindset?
Last year, man, that Magnolia loss hurt real bad. Yeah, that was a tough one, but I've done a lot of things thinking about it. Magnolia, it was crunch time, fourth quarter, drove in, threw a crucial turnover. So I've kind of worked on my ball handling a lot more. I've increased the mid-range game and just gotten way stronger because that Magnolia game, I felt like I got pushed around way more than I needed to, and that was a very physical game, and the refs weren't giving us nothing. So I got my body right. I think I gained about 5 pounds of muscle, so I've been in the gym a lot. Creatine, protein powder, and all of that. So, yeah, that's really what my main priority has been.
Shh, don't give away the secret.
Yeah, I would say that Magnolia game, that feeling hurt at the end of the season. And then one motivator would be my role stepping up a lot more this year, having to play a bigger part. So that's what I'd say, biggest motivator.
What I'd say is I've been working on moving off the ball a lot because he always gets on to me for that. And I felt like that Magnolia game, I was just finding myself like not open a lot, and I was just I didn't get a lot of shots because they were just pushing me off my spots. So I'd say moving off the ball.
I'll say having a bigger role than last year, since we don't have all our players we had from last year, so just having a bigger role.
And I realized I didn't really answer your question when you said other players that are not here. We got one guy that's a transfer. He's a little bit busy on the gridiron right now. Kevin Deuce Williams. He's got a chance to really help us. And then we have some 10th graders. The 10th graders that have been showing up in practice that really have a good opportunity to crack that lineup. You got Jackson 6'4" post, Jackson Walker. You got Gunnar Rath. He can shoot the cover off that thing. Then you have Anthony Brown. He's really been D'ing up in practice and improved on the other end as well. So we do have some other guys, and then we have another senior that I think is going to help us in the post because that's our weakness right now. We don't have much size. We have a 6'4" senior, Caleb Patrick, I believe he started one game last year because we had some suspensions and stuff like that. But I feel like he's got a shot to really help us in the paint. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So this question's more for the players. It lightened the mood up a little bit, but I got to ask to each of you guys, who gives you a harder time, and those of you who are familiar with our Robinson Sports Network, who gives you a harder time and gets louder with you? Is it Coach Harden or is it Larry and Buster?
I'd say definitely Buster because he's always talking on the sports network, and I see him like all around. Like he's always trying to talk to me and tell me what we need to improve on. So I'd say him.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll say Buster. He'll pop up every now and then, occasionally, but he's always trying to motivate us. We were on the track one time, and he ran everything with us, motivating us, just pushing us to be better than what we were doing. And he really helped us out a lot that day because, yeah, that was a hard day with the running. So, yeah.
I would say Harden. Like you said, he had that little moment with me where we had to stop practice, talk to me. So I would say Coach Harden.
Say Harden getting all his words in now because he's got good voice skill right now.
Yeah, I say Harden too because he always getting on to me about being more aggressive and shooting more.
Well, okay, Coach. That concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out giving us the opportunity to get an inside peek of Robinson basketball.
Hey, we really do appreciate what you guys are doing. They've been doing this and things like this for football for years, and we've been waiting for somebody to pick up the baton and run with it. And I think this is a great thing for high school basketball. We really do appreciate it.
No doubt, Coach. Appreciate
All right,
y'all.
appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
All right.
Okay, up next we have Joe T. Robinson girls basketball with head coach Amon Love leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, we're doing amazing. I appreciate you all taking time out, coming down, and give us the opportunity to get to know Joe T. Robinson basketball.
Thank you.
Girls basketball, so to speak. To start off, introduce yourself and introduce some of the young ladies that come with you.
Okay. So as I said, I am Amon Love. I am the head girls coach at Robinson High School. 9 years going into my 10th year here. And to my right, I'll have all seniors really. Kaya Miller. Kaya Miller has been playing for me like from 9th grade up. She has been, she's kind of like what I call well, I'm gonna take it from Coach Harding because I stole it from him. My Swiss Army knife. She's kind of able to do everything inside out. Good passer. I've got Olivia Martin here, also to my right, senior. High energy. I mean, like she's been leading the charge defensively for me also, and she's been playing for 4 years. Coy Bradley. My manipulator, she really manipulates how she moves through the lane well. Also a senior that's been with me 4 years. And then Mariah Daniels, who is, I call my shutdown defensive player. If I need like a go-to for defense, I know I can call on her and she'll answer the call.
Coach, well, let's talk about last season, the end of last season or a summary of last season coming into this season.
Okay. Last season, of course, for us, if anybody followed us, you saw that we were first half of the season always in games. We didn't have like a lot of numbers, and I'll just say it this way: we didn't have a lot of quality numbers. So these girls you see up here played a lot, played a lot throughout the game. And I don't know again if anybody watched it. We played in one of the toughest conferences, which is probably going to be considered, in my opinion, probably the toughest conference, probably in 4A regarding teams. So it was a tough matchup. I think from last year to this year, I'm going to say this: the girls mentally have grown. We have mentally have grown. It's been preaching, like we've been preaching, having a killer mentality. Last year was just more, hey, y'all, let's push through, let's get through, we got this, to like, every time you walk in the room, everybody's going to respect you before they're going to respect you before we leave. So this is going to be a new. It's going to be a new look. It's going to be a new look and a new attitude for this team that I don't know if anybody's necessarily expecting. So, kind of like my teams that I've kind of like had in years past. You'll see how our defense is going to look.
So let's talk about the outlook and some of the goals that you expect for this team, some expectations of this team.
Okay. Outlook for us. So we are in a conference. It's a little different where, normally it's been like 6 or 7 teams. There's only 5. So our outlook is to be in that top 4 and to compete for a spot in a state, and then from state take it game by game. That's been our goal to talk about from the summer all the way till now, and we haven't stepped off from it.
Coach, you're in a tough 4A conference. So, talk about that conference and just how, you're setting your girls' mindset up to tackle that conference. Yeah.
Exactly. So for those who may not know, there's only 5 in the conference. And the teams that I'm going to name off, you're going to be like, oh, boy, okay. 1, Morton. Morton played in the state championship game last year, played Farmington. You talk about PA. PA gave Morton a good game to almost, get there. And then Clinton also, who was in the quarterfinals of state. So that's 3 teams right there. That really didn't lose a lot. So that's something that like we have to be ready for. And not to mention a Heber Springs team coached by Coach Gay, which I don't know if anybody knew and followed. Heber Springs actually beat PA last year in conference. So it was one of those things when PA found their footing, they came back to actually, beat them and made a good run. So I keep telling my girls there's no days off. There's no days off in practice, and there's no days off in this conference. But I believe that we're ready for it.
So this to the players, starting from left to right, let's talk about, you all mentality coming into this game. Let's talk about just, how important it is for you all to get a good start, to come together, just to tackle this 4A conference.
So I'd say almost all of our mentality is definitely different this year. We had a few struggles last year just with players and mentality wise, but I say this year we've got a few new players, a few new underclassmen coming up, and I'd say that they're pretty confident and we're pretty confident as well for this season.
So I think our mentality is really important, especially this year, just being most of our senior years. We have a lot of seniors on the team, and it's been up and down. So I think we all have that mindset of let's just do it. Let's just do it this year. And we're all set, and we just put in the work every day. So. I'll say.
I would say our mentality coming in, it got to be good. Have a strong mentality and treat everybody the same.
I think our mentality has gotten really good. We're all selling the same goal, and we're all trying to push through.
So Coach, talk about some of the biggest challenges that's coming into this season that you see of this team, and talk about how you're going to attack those challenges.
I think our biggest challenge right now is probably going to be how we grow through our offense. We do have we have an acronym in our locker room about accomplishing a feat, and the last part of that is trust. And so a number of these young ladies here on the panel before you spend a lot of time covering a lot of roles. And like they said, we have some younger athletes. Well, I'm gonna tell you, these athletes are tenacious, and they're they're ready to go after it. So getting them to start trusting those players for something that they can do, kind of like Coach Harden was speaking earlier about roles changing. Their role has now been one that was so wide to where now we can kind of squeeze it down and say, hey, I just need you for this. And so adjusting to that for us offensively has been something. I don't think it's going to be an issue by the time that we get into conference. I think as we battle game by game through our non-conference, because I did schedule a pretty hard non-conference schedule, it'll give us an opportunity to see quickly what we need to work on and have a quick turnaround to get ready for conference. So I'm pretty sure that's the only thing that I'm worried about. I'm set in our mentality, and I think the girls have bought in on that.
So a couple questions, Coach. First one, I want to talk about your schedule a little bit, because that five conference team thing makes it kind of, I guess, more difficult when you get into conference play, because you've got to fill some weeks in there.
Yeah.
You've got CAC looking at your schedule and some other games out there. Talk about the trickiness of putting that schedule together, just having 5 conference games.
Yeah, so the latter part of it was kind of like the tricky part, trying to find teams in the latter part, because, the way when they changed the conferences, it was like everybody was kind of scrambling, for games. So I wanted to make sure that by the time we got to conference and even in between, that we were playing teams that I felt would challenge us in different ways, and teams that in all honesty, I think all of them have a really good chance to either not just be in state, but do some damage in state, respectively, in their classes.
So, and then my next question is kind of really for the ladies, but I'll come to you, because I look at you guys' situation and I think about where Maumelle came from and before where Coach Garrison got there, and looking at what Joe's doing over at Mills as well, and you guys are starting to see that growth with you at the program, and we talked some last year about fundamentals and different things, and we saw that. But one of the questions I had for you ladies is you have a unique perspective getting over. I'm over at Robinson quite a bit and up in the press box doing some work and stuff. And I'll look down and there's a lot of looks like a lot of cardio going on down there and a lot of hill running. How's the off season been so far this fall and getting ready for basketball season?
I can say it's been our hardest off season I've ever experienced within this program, and I think this is the year that we needed that, and it's definitely been hard. It's been a challenge, but it's also brought us closer as a team. Every single workout we've had to push through together, and I just think that pushes us greatly into the season. So.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Olivia said, it's definitely been the hardest off season we've had at Robinson, but I think it's definitely helped us become a more conditioned team. With last year us not having as many players, it's definitely helped us.
I think suffering together brought us all together more. It was definitely very hard. We all pushed through, though. We all got to it.
I'll say the conditioning has been pretty hard this year, but it'll help us.
I just want to put a disclaimer on that, so parents don't think that I've been really hurting their kids. No. I think what they're referring to is what we call Hell Month, and I felt it was something that was really needed for us. So, but I don't know how much we're doing on time, so I'll go ahead.
Just one last question to the ladies up here. Nigel normally asks this question, but I'm gonna fill in the gap for him. So what's that one game that you guys are looking forward to playing this year? Maybe that rival or that one game that you thought you may have had but slipped through your fingers. We can just start right down here on the end.
I think for me personally, I think it's Mills. Last year we played them, but I sadly wasn't able to play them. But I do know most of the girls on that team, and I think it'd be a really good competition for us.
For me, I would say PA, because we've always thought it's a team that we can beat. I mean, they're physical and they're a good three-point shooting team, but I think we match up with them, and it's always fun to play them. It's always an exciting game. So.
I'll say Mills, because last year it didn't go as planned, but I'm looking forward to it this year, though.
For me, it's between Mills or PA. I feel like we can really do better against both of them, but I don't have a set in stone which one.
Coach, appreciate you bringing your team out.
Thank you.
Give us a little insight about season up to come in your program. Y'all have a great season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're back. Up next, we have Hall High boys basketball with assistant coach Martin.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, good.
Coach, appreciate you guys for coming out, man. It's an honor.
We appreciate
to
the
have your
opportunity.
team. Okay, so with that being said, introduce yourself and introduce the players that you brought with you, please.
Okay, my name is Coach Barton. I've been at Hall High, I think this is my 15th year. I've been with Coach Coleman and Coach Farr going back and forth. Now I'm with Coach Coleman, and I'm gonna run down the list of stuff I want them to do, not stuff that they're good at. Mike, I want him to be a great leader, be able to handle the ball, get us in and out of stuff, be able to switch the defenses, be a leader on the floor. Dalton, I want him to knock down shots, be able to take charges, just do whatever we need him to do. Tristan, I want him to, when people look on the court, not say that he's 6'8", but look on the court and say, how is he playing that hard? That's what we're looking for. And Landon he started every game since ninth grade. We just look for him to just keep improving and take charges, play defense, and be able to knock down shots.
Coach, when describing what you're wanting from your guys up there, I mainly heard effort, playing hard, defense. Is that kind of what you're hanging your hat on this year?
That's what Hall basketball is effort, defense, taking charges, and we'll figure the offense out through the defense.
Tell us a little about, just a brief recap of last year, and then what are the expectations? What are your expectations? Maybe not even necessarily wins or losses, but what are your expectations as a coaching staff for Hall High?
Every year, the expectation, Coach Coleman has a saying of playing to the last game. So we are trying to get to the last game every single year. Last year, we had ended up playing Brookland in Brookland. They jumped on us quick. Jeremy got hurt. The leading scorer got hurt quick. I think Landon, I don't know if he got hurt or he just limped. I don't know. But he got hurt, and it was a tough. And it was Brookland in Brookland.
So, Coach, when you get to talking about your non-conference schedule, so I always ask everybody, what is that non-conference schedule like, and how would it correlate to your conference?
You hear me keep saying Hall over and over, or Warrior. We have a culture. Every year we are trying to play the biggest, best, everybody, so we can get as good as we can be, see where our deficiencies are, and then when conference season comes, we can be rolling.
Right on. So let's talk to the players a little bit. So players, starting from left to right, last season, I'm pretty sure you all learned a lot of things, right? Took some bumps, took some bruises. Talk about how those bumps and bruises have molded you over the summer and over the spring, all the way up to now, to this moment, gearing you up for the season.
Left to right.
Last year was my first year on playing varsity, and it definitely was a experience. And for the off season, I've been working on getting stronger. So this year, when I'm handling the ball, I can get in the offense easier and just do things easier on the court instead of getting pushed around. So, yeah.
I say for me, I've played varsity 2 years now, going into my senior season. I know what I need to do. I know what the coaches need from me. And I've been working on my shot, ball handling, charges, everything that they need from me to make sure we do what we need to do this season.
I would say, working my butt off, rumor on the floor, getting rebounds, boxing out. I say, running down the floor, getting rebounds, boxing out, getting stronger, staying composable, and stuff like that.
I'd say don't walk around the court and always play hard. Don't look like you just standing straight up. Always be down and be ready to play.
So I saw a few of you guys over the summer playing with a team ISO, and you all were playing some pretty nice talent that's out there, right, on the highest level. Talk about how playing at the highest level molded you guys coming back this season to prepare you for this season.
Playing summer ball with ISO Joe was an experience. Played on one of the best circuits in the world, and so just being able to play against the the top guys in the nation. It definitely helped us for school ball. And, you know, the school ball competition isn't like the AAU competition. So, yeah, I'd say it definitely helped us. And, yeah.
I say, you know, playing with ISO Joe this summer, playing against a lot of great people does make things a lot easier coming to school ball and helps out a lot.
Playing against the better teams, I mean, it's not like school ball, so you're playing against better talent, AAU ball, and then when it comes to school ball, then you'll be prepared.
I want to follow up on that prepared part. It's so a lot of you guys actually all played together with ISO Joe, and so how has that helped you guys coming into the school ball season to build that little bit of camaraderie between you guys and actually be able to, you know, and kind of bring that team mentality together at the high school level?
Played on the same team with Tristan and Landon, so I know their tendencies. I know what type of shots they like to shoot. I know every time where Tristan wants the ball, and I know their hot spots. So, yeah, it definitely playing summer ball definitely helped us out for school ball, and so yeah.
I say playing with Micah and Landon does help a lot, you know, like knowing what we want to do and the chemistry with us three on the court, it just helps.
Playing with Tristan and Micah, I mean, I know what they like to do, know what they do on the court, and what shots they're looking for.
Coach, coming into this season, what's some of the biggest challenges that you see with this squad so far?
We're looking for a leader, somebody that can be a coach on the floor, so me and Coach Coleman can stop all that yelling. You probably can hear my voice now, because it's losing it already, getting ready to practice. But Mike is starting to get the role. Tristan's more of a, I guess, lead by example kind of guy, and we're trying to get Landon and Dalton to be more vocal as well.
So with that said, how you planning on tackling those challenges? You know, I know you got strengths, you got weaknesses. How do you plan on attacking those?
Well, every day we work on team basketball. We are trying to work on our strengths, but our deficiencies every day. Micah stays after and shoots, Dalton stays after and shoots. Tristan has dribbling drills, certain things that he does, and Landon as well. So we're just trying to get better every day.
So, Coach, what's the identity of this squad? You know, what's that one key thing that you can hang your hat on with this squad?
I hate to sound like a puppet or keep saying it over and over, but it's Hall culture. What we're trying to do is play defense, take charges, and switch a lot of defenses.
Okay. So, you know, I asked everybody about their non-conference scheduling and everything. So what's that one team that you played last year that, you know, that they slipped through your fingers? You wish you can have that one game back. What's that one game you wish you can go back in?
Last year we were up double digits, I think, in 9 losses last year. So any of those 9 teams, and it's a man sitting over here with purple and white on, that's the first game. So that's what we're looking for.
So let's talk to the players. Give us an inside look at how that practice is amongst you all, and talk about the team chemistry and how's the bonding going right now.
Practice for us, I would say is definitely we compete a lot, and we try to make each other better. And the team chemistry, I feel like, is pretty high. And we're all friends. We all talk to each other a lot. And so, yeah.
Yeah, to piggyback off of what he said, we all cool with each other. We all talk outside of school, inside of school. We all go at each other, make each other better every day, in and out of practice.
I'll say like competing in practice, you know, going at each other, trying to get each other better, you know, doing stuff like that.
I'd say we like to go at each other's heads, you know, make each other better, and like just compete. Don't lay back.
Okay, Coach. Last question, Coach. I want to know, you know, personally, just how has coaching, you know, changed your life?
That's all I ever wanted to do. I never had a plan B. My dad is a Hall of Fame coach, track coach at UCA, and that's just all I ever wanted to be. So I can say it changed my life by trying to change theirs. I mean, we have a saying at Hall that me and Coach Coleman always say, we want them to be great men. That's the goal. I mean, do we want to win a championship? Do we want to go to the last game? For sure. But we want to make sure that when we see Landon at 25, he still has some of those principles that we instilled in him when he was 15.
Right on. Okay. So with that being said, Coach, that concludes the interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to get a sneak peek inside of Hall basketball.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Catholic High boys basketball with head coach Todd Ezzie. How you doing, Coach?
I'm all right. It's Ezzie, by the way.
Ezzie, I'm sorry.
That's a tough one. You're good.
So, thank you all for coming. Could you introduce yourself and introduce your players that you have with you?
Yeah, I'm Todd Ezzie. This is my, I believe my 12th year as head coach at Catholic. We're here with Robert Wary, who's going to be a senior. Coming back, we've got Campbell Lewis on my left, who is going to be a starter for the second year in a row, hopefully, and then Josh Thursby, who should be a 3-year starter coming up this year. So, got a good group here.
So, Coach, talk about last season, and talk about how this season is on its way. But give us a little recap on last season.
Yeah, last season was a good year. We won a lot of games, a lot of big games against really quality opponents. Unfortunately, ended up one game out of the playoffs, and that's been the last 2 years in a row. So that's something we're looking to change this year, trying to get over the hurdle and make it into that top 4. Unfortunately, we added a Tough Little Rock Christian squad to our conference this year. We got 9 teams, so trying to find a way to be in that top 4.
Coach, they talk about that 5A is brutal. And, just navigating your way through it, it's just mentally you have to be prepared. So talk about how you preparing your guys mentally just for that tough 5A schedule.
Yeah, I think it's just everyday practice. We hold our guys accountable. We expect a lot out of them. So, if they follow the process and they come to work every day, they're going to be ready mentally, physically, and hopefully be able to perform when the time gets there. So we don't try to do anything outside of the ordinary. Just go to work every day and try to get these guys prepared.
Right. So talk about that last game. The last game that got y'all guys out. Talk about that and talk about how it has impacted your coaching, your outlook coming into this season, as well as the young men.
Yeah, Jacksonville was the team that beat us out last year, and they just outplayed us both times we played them. So I think they really beat us up on the boards, and that is somewhere that we've tried to really focus in the off season of being a little bit better. We do have a little bit bigger squad coming back, so I think that that's something that we can improve on this year. So that was one of our big focuses in the off season, and right now as we're leading into season is trying to be as tough on the boards as we can.
So this is for the players. Let's talk about, you guys' mentality. I have seen a lot of you guys play together a long time. So talk about the chemistry at this point. How's the camaraderie around with you guys in practice, even out off the court?
Yeah, we've been playing with each other since like the 4th grade. So I mean, it's like natural at this point. We know what everybody's thinking. It's like, I don't know, it's just easy now.
Yeah, I go off what he was saying. We were playing forever, and I like outside too. Like we just hang out whenever we want. We're always connected.
Say it's just we've been doing this a long time. We kind of know what everybody's thinking. We know where everybody's going to go, what they want to do on the court to get those shots open for them to make plays happen.
So, you're saying you guys are tight-knit. So how has the off-season preparation prepared you skill-wise? Some of the things you've been working on skill-wise prepared you for this season?
Like for the chemistry, skill-wise, I feel like I can like text like my buddy Josh. Like if I need to go put shots up, he'll be there. I'm like not scared to text him because we've been hanging out forever.
Yeah, just playing together and one-on-one, stuff like that after practice, before practice. This has helped a lot.
For some reason, that might be switching up when they want to, but let's go to you.
We have our yearly summer camp that we like to go on, a little trip we take just to play some competition without the past year's seniors to help get our team together. And I feel like that was really good this year. We ended up winning that, came back, start the season off strong.
Coach, you guys had some noticeable wins last year, and you beat a good team, and then sometimes the next time you might not be able to win a game that you're supposed to win. Talk about what are you doing to be more consistent in that area?
Yeah, I don't know that we lost any. We were supposed to win last year because we go into every one of them trying to, knowing there's a chance if we play good, we've got a chance to beat anybody. If we don't play well, that we could get beat by anybody. So trying to take that approach into every game and just know that, on the best team in conference, we're playing them. We've got to show up and play our best. And if it's the team at the bottom of the conference, we got to do the same thing. So we're definitely not a team that's going to out-talent most of the teams in our conference. So we rely on toughness and playing smart, playing together, and the team chemistry these guys talked about to really be able to compete at the highest level. And I've been really proud of these guys the last few years and being able to do that.
So to piggyback out there, talk about your non-conference schedule. Just how have you put that non-conference schedule together to help you on that second half of the season when you get into conference?
Yeah, we play some pretty good teams. Starting off, you saw Hall. They got a whole new squad this year. They're going to be really tough. That's our first game of the year. We're playing a benefit game with Bryant coming out of the gate. So we're going to get a lot of really good competition, get to very early see some of our weaknesses and hopefully be able to fix those as we go into the conference.
Speaking of weaknesses, what are some of your strengths? And, and your weaknesses, how do you plan on attacking those?
We shot the ball better last year than we've shot it in a long time, and I think we've got most of those guys coming back that shot the ball really well. We've got a lot of size this year, so we're going to try to use that to our advantage. Weaknesses always are being able to handle pressure because we have a tough time simulating it in practice. That's something that we really work on a lot to try to improve on just because it is hard for us to simulate that. And same thing on the boards, being able to simulate, guys that are bigger, faster, and stronger that can jump higher than us and being able to still get boards and beat people on the boards with that going on.
One thing I've noticed through the years, you know, with John Fogelman's football teams, now Coach Cochran, and even with basketball, it doesn't really matter how good or not good Catholic may be, but you always hear opposing coaches say, you know that you played the Rockets. And I've heard that I don't even know how many times. So talk about just instilling that tough. I mean, I know it goes all the way back to Father Tribu, way back when, but just instilling that toughness and not just your athletes, but the students at Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, it does come from the school. Our school is a tough school academically and in a lot of ways. And that's something that comes from our kids and our entire administration, our teaching staff there. Just around the school, hard work is something that is expected. It is a non-negotiable in our basketball program, our football program, and our school in general. So I think that the boys do that themselves when they come in. I wish I could take a lot of credit for how hard they play, but it really comes from those guys. They show up every day to work and practice, and they take that same approach to every game. So when you play us, we're going to play hard, and we try to play harder than anybody in the state. That's one of our goals every game. And, you know, that's one of the things that we can't control. There's a lot of things in the game of basketball that you can't, but that's one that we try to always control.
Coach, you know, coming off last year, coming into the spring, the summer, all the way up to now, what has this team done that you say, well, no, that surprised me? You know, I'm surprised that you guys do it, or it made you realize, okay, you're listening, you know, they're picking up on something. What is that?
You know, I think every year as a coach, when you lose those seniors, and we lost a really good group of seniors last year, you wonder if they're going to be able to fill those holes and those gaps that you may have. But that would be the biggest thing to me, is just watching guys take on new roles of leadership and new roles on the basketball court. So that would be the biggest thing to me. And it doesn't surprise me necessarily, but I love to see those guys take that challenge and step up to it and be able to perform at that level.
Okay, so this is for the players. What game last year, what experience last year, so to speak, that you have been through and you're applying it to this year and you're going to change it? You know, what happened last year that you said, well, that's not going to happen again?
Probably just like giving up boards. I mean, we gave up a bunch of boards to Maumelle in that last game we played them. I mean, they had probably 15 offensive rebounds, and that's definitely one of the reasons they were up the entire game, and I just don't want that to happen anymore.
I feel like towards the end of the game, we'd be like have like a 20-point lead on somebody, and we just like kick back, and they'd always like come back, and it'd be like a scare. So hopefully we can just pull out those games.
Just too many times getting ahead, you know, slowing down a little bit instead of keeping that pressure up and just letting them come back and get it. Just way too many close games.
So with you all losing some seniors, some of the leadership on the road, I'm pretty sure Coach has been leaning on you guys heavily to fill those gaps. Do you all feel any pressure knowing that leadership is on you now, or are you embracing it?
I don't think there's much pressure going into this season. I feel like last year we all had a pretty big role in the team, and now this year it's just kind of the same thing. Just pick it up a little bit.
I'm not feeling any pressure. I'm just trying to get the team to where they need to be to compete.
We knew it was coming. We knew that those seniors were going to leave, and we knew what we had to do.
Coach, you know, I always ask this, and, you know, is there a game that you're looking forward to, you know, to playing again? Like I said, one that slipped through your fingers, or is there one that you told the boys, hey, look, we're going here and I want this game? Is there a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to that first game. I try not to get ahead of myself, try to really look at them. Like I said, Hall is our first actual game after Bryant benefit game, and you know, that's really the one we're looking at. I think in our conference, I mean, we've got quality opponents almost every night, so we don't have one of them picked out. We're just trying to find a way to scratch our way into the playoffs. So.
All right. Well, that concludes our interview. You have that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us some of your time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck to you. Okay, up next we have Little Rock Christian Academy boys basketball with head coach Wayman. Sorry about that.
Good.
Tyler Wayman.
Yep.
Give us an introduction about yourself and let us know who you brought with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having us out. This is awesome. Great platform and exposure for all our teams. So my name's Tyler Wayman. Took over here in the summer after Coach Pennington left, after his tremendous success. With us, we brought J.J. Andrews Jr. for us. Returning starter, obviously accolades speak for itself with state finals MVP and everything he's accomplished. Mitchell Morris is the senior for us. We expect Mitchell to have a big year. Had a good finals last year, coming in, giving him a spark. Expect him to kind of keep that going for us. To my left, we got sophomore Katie Hicks. Katie will be a big piece for us at the point guard spot, especially giving us some stability and running our show.
So, Coach, considering that you're coming in, taking over Coach Pennington, what's some of the goals and expectations you have set for your team this year?
Yeah, absolutely. From day one, I told these guys, we're not going to shy away from the success we've had. We're moving up to 5A. With that comes this whole new set of challenges. We all know being from the state and going on coaching in college outside the state, you always look back in and you keep tabs, especially of the 5A and 5A Central, the conference we're moving into. And so what the challenges come with that. So what I told these guys from day one is you never apologize for the success you've had. They had a lot of success. They won a lot of games. That's a credit to these guys. That's a credit to Coach Pennington and his staff. And so we're not going to shy away from that. We're going to embrace that. We understand that comes with the bullseye. But that also means we just have to go back to work and work harder because every team's got us circled. Every team's ready for us to roll in their gym and try to prove that we're not ready for that jump. And so I've challenged these guys every day. Just come to work every day, be ready to go, and embrace that bullseye. Never shy away from it, and don't flinch. And they've done that. They've embraced that from day one in the summer all the way to now, ready to go.
Speaking of challenges, what's some of the challenges you have faced since taking over?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the first challenges I would say is just that expectation. It's a good expectation, but it's an expectation. There's always a saying where you never want to be the guy to follow the guy in coaching, and that's kind of what I did. I followed Pennington, who had back-to-back state championships, and you kind of followed the guy. It's a credit to these players, but also what he built. I think if you ask anybody in this community, they probably always thought Little Rock Christian had that kind of untapped potential to be able to make those types of runs in the past, and Coach Pennington kind of led that charge. And so for me, it was coming in and not trying to be Coach Pennington, be myself, add what I bring to it. And for these guys, the challenge was how quickly can they adapt? I don't want to take away that natural instinct they have and what's made them good. I just want to add to it, and then they adapt to it, and they've done a great job. So they've tackled those challenges head on, and it's been a great start to the year.
Okay, since we're talking about you fellas, so this is for the players. You guys have had a tremendous amount of success, right? Back-to-back state championships. Do you all feel any pressure coming in this season that we need to succeed? We need to get back to that where we always been. Do you all feel that pressure?
Honestly, no. As of right now, there's no pressure. Honestly, we just got to come in with a sense of knowing who we are, knowing what we're about, not listening to the outside noise, doing what's necessary to get the victories, and hopefully we'll be able to be right back to the state championship.
Yeah, like JJ said, we know what it takes to win, and we're going to go out and do that, and we're going to trust in each other and not what others have to say about us.
Before I answer, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Mr. Miller. He was a big part of my life and just helping me succeed as a basketball player and as a person. And just growing up, I just wanted to take a time to just acknowledge him and give him his credit. And I don't feel like it's any pressure. I mean, we know what we have to do to get back in the mix. Just stay focused. Don't listen to the outside noise like what JJ said. Just stay together as a team. Don't let anybody come between us, no matter how good or bad we doing.
JJ, this is directed for you. Would have been so easy for you to go to a prep school or to transfer or to go to somewhere else where there's other superstars, since Landron and Jamil and Corliss are gone. But you did the opposite. You said, no, this is my school. This is my team now. Talk a little about that, and the role you're going to now take on coming into this year.
Yeah, that's a big question that a lot of people were asking me last year after coming off of back-to-back state championships, whether I was going to come back or go prep. But I just discussed with my family, and I felt like it was the best decision for me to stay here and running back with my guys for the next 2 years. And honestly, the new role is it's a bigger leadership role. Of course, I learned a lot from my guys, Landry and Jamil, Corliss. They've all been here, been in this position before. So I took as much as I could to learn from them and embracing the new leadership role.
So, guys, last year, it was amazing. I was there to watch everything. So, talk about the highs of that season. Talk about how that moment kind of shaped your vision going forward.
It was a lot of highs, and there was a lot of lows as well. We just had to respond. That was the message that we always heard from Coach, how to respond, and that's the message from Coach Wayman as well. And he also he wrote on the whiteboard a couple of days ago, what are we holding back? What more do we have to give? And I feel like we just have to respond to those low days and just and come harder the next day and do what we got to do necessary.
Yeah, I think we need to be able to keep responding like we did last year, because we did have some tough games that we lost, and I think we just need to keep trusting each other and trusting the leaders of our team that we have, and just keep moving forward and don't hold back on it, never say negative, and just always stay positive.
Yeah, me personally, I feel like one of our highs was losing a conference game last year. I feel like that locked in. It helped us lock in and just focus on what we need to do and get back on the main goal, which was to win the championship. And playing in 4A, I know it was somewhat a breeze, but just losing that one game, it just helped us lock in and focus on the goal and just come together as a team and just push harder, getting to the end.
So, Coach, I had a chance to talk with you briefly before the season, and we talked about your non-conference scheduling. And what you explained to me is like, hey, look, I'm looking to make my non-conference schedule as tough as possible. Give us a little insight on that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think with these guys, I would be doing them a disservice if we moved up classifications after state championships and went and just tried to pad wins just to make me feel better about getting wins in year one with them. It would be doing a disservice to these guys. So, you know, I've heard a lot of people the last couple of days talk about their non-conference, and, you know, I would put us up with anybody in the state, if not this region. You know, we open up playing Fayetteville in our benefit game like Coach Stamps talked about earlier. He's probably one of the guys I respect the most in this whole state of coaching. His staff, the way he does things. Then we roll right into Springdale. You know, we know what they got and what they bring to the table, and then we go from there. We play Marion right after that, another team that's going to be up there in 5A. You know, Sammy does a fantastic job with his guys. Then we play El Dorado, another 5A team that will bring us a challenge. Then we go down to Duncanville to play in the Nike Hoop Fest tournament. We play the Colony and we play Houston Bel Air. And then we come back and we go to Fayetteville. Coach Stamps somehow convinced me to come follow up and come up there to their tournament. We play those 3 games up there. Over Christmas, we're going to go to Kentucky and play Bowling Green and play Pinson Valley out of Alabama, some heavy hitters. And then, you know, then we get to roll back in January and, you know, take a little time off and go play Bryant. You know, that's why we scheduled that. That's great, you know. But I say all that to say it would do a discredit to these guys, because as good as our non-conference is, our conference is just as good. Right. You know, when you have the teams in our conference that we roll into, not only the teams but the head coaches are just as good as we're going to play in non-conference. And so I would be doing these guys a disservice if I went out just to schedule wins. You know, it's not about me and my record. It's about how can they be ready for conference and hopefully finishing the year in Hot Springs again. And so, you know, I think we have a team that's talented enough to compete in every one of those games. We're young. We're juniors and sophomores. Mitchell and maybe 1 or 2 other seniors are the only seniors we have on our team that are going to play. We're all juniors and sophomores. So it's one of those old adages of you better get us now, because as time goes and these guys mature, they're only going to continue to grow and get better and better. And so we're excited for the challenge. You know, we're going to lose a couple games, and that's okay. You know, I heard Brian up here talking about last year when they went 0-2 to start the year, how it helped them. And it's the same. That's the same thing I told these guys. You know, it's not about necessarily the loss or the win, but it's the response. Because either we win or lose, you got to come to practice the next day. And so that's what we've been trying to preach. And the good thing is I'm not having to reinvent the wheel here. I'm not taking over a place that's never won. You know, when I was at the Division II level and we recruit guys, we would always say we want to recruit winners. We don't need to try to teach you how to win. And that's one thing every one of these guys up here and the guys that aren't here today, they've all been a part of winning. They know what it takes. They know how to get there. And they know how to bounce back and make it happen.
So with that being said, I want to piggyback out that. What's some of your long-term goals for this program?
Yeah, you know, my long-term goals with these guys especially, you know, Mitchell's only got 1 year with us, JJ 2, Katie 3, a couple other guys, is that they continue that. I hope that by the end of this group of guys that's here, you know, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, whatever they're in, can leave here as some of the most winning guys, not only in our school's history, but the state. You know, you look at a guy like JJ who's got 2 back-to-back state championships, and he's got a Peach Jam championship. I mean, that's a resume that a lot of people take their whole life to get. He got it in 2 years. Same thing with these other guys that have been a part of back-to-back state championships. So my goal long-term isn't for me, it's for them. How can I have their resume be the best it can be when it's time to move on?
Well, Coach, that concludes. Well, I would ask you about what team that you're looking to face this year, but you kind of answered that already by saying that, look, we're attacking each
Yeah.
team, getting
Absolutely.
one game at a time. So you already answered that. So with that said, that concludes our interview. Appreciate you all for coming out, giving us a chance to get inside Little Rock Christian basketball.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Batesville High School boys basketball with head coach Isaac Middlebrooks. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Man, we're doing great, Coach. Thank you all for coming down. First off, introduce yourself and introduce the fellas you brought with you.
I'm Isaac Middlebrooks, head coach of the Batesville Pioneers, and to my right is senior Kaylin Johnson, and to my left is senior Carter Richardson.
Coach, talk about last year and on into this season.
Well, we don't have the back-to-back state championships like Little Rock Christian talked about. We're trying to build something at Batesville, you know. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I think we had 9 wins last year, 8 or 9 wins, and that was double, triple what they had the year before. So we got it going in the right direction. We just have to keep that momentum going that way.
So, you know, I always ask everybody about, you know, what are you doing to change? You know, what if you had that season last year, what are you doing to change it, to get a different result? What's some of those things?
Well, a lot of it's just culture stuff. You know, last year early on, we had to coach a lot of attitudes, had to coach some effort, and we tell them every day if we can just coach basketball. and don't have to coach those things, hey, we can, really start to, achieve the goals that we've set forward.
Right on. So to the players, considering that season last year, what's some of the things that you guys have changed? What have you done over the summer to help prepare you for this season?
Changing our mindset during when we got practice time. Our attitudes too.
Attitudes?
Yes, sir.
Right on. So obviously, Coach brought you for a reason because he's looking at you guys as possibly some of the leaders or the leaders on the team. So with that being said, talk about how you all are embracing the leadership role and how you're applying it to your team and how they're responding.
We're just holding each other accountable every day in practice. Making sure we're always doing the right thing at the right times. Like when he's talking, don't talk or anything like that. Eye contact, body language, just straight positivity.
So how is the team responding? Your fellow teammates, how they responding to it?
I mean, sometimes they do all right, sometimes not so good, but we're trying to work on it.
Coach, this kind of follows up on their answers right there, right? A lot of times when you're rebuilding like this, you can't necessarily measure wins or losses. So, how can you instill in your team that we may not have just a whole lot more wins, but we can still be a whole lot more better?
Definitely. And I expect us to have more wins this year. That's the goal we've set, forth going forward. And the next year, hey, we want to have more wins, and like Carter said, hey, it's a work in progress every day. The older ones that we've had for a year, it's my second year there, have really bought in and are changing things, and some of the younger ones that are struggling with some of that stuff on a day-to-day basis. Some of the sophomores, but hey, they're getting there. The sophomores, they show up every day physically, but mentally they're not always there. But as the preseason's gone on, it's gotten better and better every week.
So, Coach, talk about some of your goals and expectations coming into this season.
Well, last year I think we had 3 conference wins. Hey, our goal this year, hey, we want to make state. And I think if we show up, if we can get the ones we have in football out healthy the next 3 weeks, we got an all-conference player up there, another one who, is arguably our best player. It's his first year playing football. His name's Rafa Thomas. Me and him kind of butted heads a lot last year. He was one of those that trying to get him to buy in to what we were trying to do. He struggled with it at times, but he had an awesome summer. He's been, more personable. Every time last year he'd kind of try to avoid eye contact, but now he comes up and talks. And hey, it's just if we can get them healthy, get the year going, in the right direction. We get some wins early. I think we have a 100% chance of making the state tournament.
Coach, talk about the strength and weaknesses of your squad at this moment that you see.
Strengths, I think we're going to be a much better outside shooting team than we were last year. Defensively, I thought defensively we did really well at times last year, but I think we'll be even better this year. On that side of the floor, we got, one of our strengths last year is the teams in our league, we're not just going to go outscore on a daily basis, so we tried to limit possessions. And by the end of the year, we were really good at getting deep into the shot clock and, getting a good shot the last 10 seconds of it. Our weaknesses, and we've said it all preseason, hey, we don't have a whole lot of size. Kaylin and Carter are our 2 biggest players we have, height-wise. But, what they lack with height, they make up with the energy, toughness. Carter, it's hard to keep him off the boards. Kaylin, he's probably our best natural athlete we have in the gym. He can get up there and play above the rim. His shot's improving. This summer sometimes when we play, teams back off of him, and I don't expect them to do that this year. I expect him to shoot with confidence. Carter can knock down shots, and then hey, we play really well together when we play within what we're trying to do.
So this is to the players. What lessons from last year you have learned that when you come back this year, you're going to do something different and apply something to get a different result?
Don't go into a game thinking you're going to lose that game. Just because the team's better than you doesn't mean they got to beat you.
Same thing as him.
So when I think about teams that had the season that you guys had, I always think about what is that turning point? What is that key factor that can really set your season off on a different path? What is that?
Well, I think like last year, we beat Searcy at Searcy, and probably shouldn't have, but hey, we out executed them. Hey, our kids played just a little bit harder than they did, and hey, after we got that win at Searcy, hey, we reeled off a couple other ones. Nettleton won our conference last year, and we were down 1 point, with 2 minutes to go in the game, and had a chance to beat them on the road at Nettleton. And I think if we'd have got that win, I think we would have been in the state tournament. We wasn't out of it till the last couple of weeks, and even up into that last week, and it was just then we got to rely on other teams to win or lose and all that stuff. So this year we just need to take care of business on our end.
Coach, can you talk specifically about the 2 guys that you brought and then other guys you have, not only their roles for production on the court, but leadership off the court?
Oh, these 2, Carter, as the year went on last year, he got a lot more minutes, and I think that was a little addition by subtraction. Last year we lost a couple kids midway through the year that didn't want to buy in, so they went elsewhere, and then Carter really stepped up and embraced that role. Kalen, around Christmas break, he really started stepping up, and he didn't just get a whole lot of minutes last year, but we start today. Hey, he's one of our starters, and I expect him to be there, and then it's his to keep. The players we have coming back, Talon Forey was all conference last year for us. He's our point guard. If you showed a picture of him from this year or last year to this year, hey, he's gained about 15 pounds of muscle in the weight room. He looks good. Ransom Dunlap started for us as a sophomore last year, and he shot about 45% on threes. He's our best outside shooter. We got Rafa Thomas, who I think he's a 15 to 20 point a night scorer when he wants to be. And then we got a couple kids that didn't play last year that are going to come out and play this year that should have played last year because they would have got minutes last year too, but they're going to come out of football and get some time. And it's just the rest of them, hey, they just got to embrace their role, get better every day, and be great practice players for us. And then next year, we graduate 5 seniors. Next year it's their time.
So in practice, Coach, what's the message to your team when you finish practice or when you begin practice? What's that message that you give your team to put them in that mode?
Just believe. I mean, it all comes down to execution. On the court and off the court, and the games we're going to play in January, a lot of them are won right now. Showing up every day. And it's been a kind of a weird preseason. I had to have a surgery and missed 2 weeks, but I have a great assistant coach, and he took care of practices while I was out. And then me and our girls coach, we do cross country, so we're out at the gym at 3:30 every day, which I think is a good thing because they don't have to hear my voice, all the way till March. Every day they could hear other voices and all that. And I just think, just getting them to believe that we can win. Hey, undersized or not, we're capable. We have the talent. And as like I said earlier, hey, as long as the coaches can, just coach a sport, and we don't have to coach effort, we don't have to coach attitudes and all that stuff. Hey, we're gonna be just fine.
So, Coach, with the players, so Coach was talking about the ups and downs. So, one of my questions would be right now for you all: what is your favorite moment from last year? What was that moment?
Winning that first conference game against Searcy.
I'm sorry?
Winning that first conference game against Searcy.
The big win against Searcy.
Right on. Well, Coach, I always ask this question. Do you have a game circled on your schedule that you're looking forward to getting to right at it? Or
that first game, I know these kids, we're tired of practicing against each other. And, we're going to get those kids out of football. We're going to have 2 days of practice, and we're going to go play. And then, hey, see where we're at. We'll have 3 or 4 more days, and we're going to circle that next game. And just hopefully, have some confidence heading into our conference season after Christmas break and get things heading in that right direction.
Right on. Well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming down, giving us the opportunity to get a good look inside of Batesville basketball. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, back up, we have Batesville High School girls basketball with head coach Stan Fowler. He couldn't make it, so Coach, we hope that you get better. We have Coach Isaac Middlebrooks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Middlebrooks. Stepping in for him. Appreciate you, Coach.
Nope, not a problem.
Okay, so let's talk to the girls right off the bat. Well, if you can introduce the girls for us, if you don't mind, please.
To my left is Briley Pulliam, and to my right is Kaylee Montgomery.
So, ladies, right off the bat, talk about your season. Talk about what happened and talk about what this season entails.
Well, we had a rocky start last season. I think we lost some team chemistry, and this year we got some new girls. We have the old girls, and I think we have better bonds, and we're better as a team, and I think we're going to be much better this year.
Yes, like Briley said, we did start off a little rocky at the beginning last year, but as the time went on, we kind of started molding together a little bit. And then I think once break happened, we kind of lost a little bit of that, but we started really kind of bonding together. And a lot of us is the same team that we were last year, since we only had, I think, one senior that played with us graduate. And so we've had the summer and this whole preseason to be able to really bond in. So we're looking forward to this next season.
Well, good. So I realize you're coaching here, so I'm going to lean on both of you guys a lot, okay? You said, have a couple of new girls coming in. We really only had one senior we relied upon, so I kind of want to hear from both of y'all. So who are some of these other girls that we're really going to be relying on that didn't have a lot of production last year? And then you lost one senior, but who's going to replace the production that she had?
Well, we got some really good posts from like the little schools around Batesville, and we lost our point guard last year, but I think we're going to be really good, and we're just going to
Okay, so we have a couple girls, Milena Hendricks and Maggie Price, that will definitely step up and they're both juniors, and they'll step up and take the role of our point guard that we lost this year due to her being a senior. And then for us just stepping up, me as a senior, and then we have 3 other seniors, there's 4 of us, just us having to step up, and take that role that our senior last year took. And it's a hard shoe to replace because she did really good, but it's a pleasure and an opportunity to be able to do that.
Coach, I realize this isn't just your team, but that 5A girls is just murderer's row. They don't have an off week.
In our league, it's the same with girls and boys. But I talked to Coach Smith from Greene County Tech the other day at cross country, and he said he thinks on any given night our girls at Batesville can beat any team in the league. Briley over here, she looks all nice and all that, but she's a killer. She can really shoot it. Kaylee's a workhorse. She goes straight from basketball practice every day to cross country. So she goes from running out there on the basketball court for an hour to, going and running 3 miles, getting ready for the next cross country meet. And then, like they said, they had some really good sized girls move in from Cedar Ridge and Cave City. One of them got hurt early in the preseason, but I think they expect her back after Christmas. And got another guard from Cedar Ridge. So, Coach Fowler's not hurting for kids that can play. And if you've never watched them play, they're fun to watch because no matter who they're playing, it's a track meet.
Well, let's talk about that style of play. Do you guys love playing that up and down? And tell us about what individually your roles are in that up and down offense.
I do like playing the up and down. I think that it's really my game. I'm one of the shooters, and I'll shoot it from anywhere. And so I think it really fits us as a team. I think we really work well in the type of game, and I hope that this year we can do what we did last year, but better than what we did last year.
One thing that Coach Fowler always tells us is just get it and go. So every time we get that rebound, just look for that open player that's up the court and just get it and go. And that's what he thinks that we do best, and I do too, is just getting it out of there, because we play those teams that have the tall posts, and we're not that big of a team, but we're fast. And so if we can get it and go before they get their tall people down the court, then we definitely have a chance. But with also our new players coming in, and we got bigger bodies this year, I think we'll be doing good.
And you said your senior point guard that left last year was a great leader. Tell us a little about those traits that she instilled in you guys, and then now how are you guys instilling those traits into the younger girls that are coming up?
I was a freshman last year, and so she kind of took me under her wing because me and her play the same position, and so she taught me that to be a team player and just all around, just like she taught the team the game, and she left with us having like team characteristics and just like all around better.
And also it never seemed like she was really down. She was always very encouraging to us, even though when we did lose and we did win, she was always encouraging, and she came back to practice and kept practicing hard, even if we had a loss the day before. And that's something that I want to also, encourage my teammates this year is, even if we do get a loss, no matter what it is, just continue to keep going and pushing hard, and not to focus on our game before, but we have games ahead, and those are the ones that we want to win.
All right, Coach, just, this is slightly off topic, but why can't we get Batesville and Southside to play every single year? The whole state wants this, I'm just telling you.
I don't really know how much I can say about this, but it goes back to parenting. We had an issue at the football game they played this year, and they were in a conference a couple years ago, and we had them on the schedule, but we had to cancel because kids on social media and all that, and parents not policing that nonsense, and it got out of hand, both ways, and admins got together and they made us cancel it. We had them on the schedule though.
See, I didn't even realize that. Well, yeah. I would say this I'm speaking for a lot of people. Everybody's ready for those to get back on the schedule.
Oh yeah, and hey, it should be a big rivalry every year. For both schools, it'd be a money game. Hey, big gate, big concession stand, and it needs to be on there. So hopefully next year we move past the nonsense and get it back on there.
Okay, girls. Last question to you guys. What's that game that was on the schedule last year that you thought you had won, maybe slipped through your fingers, and you thought, man, I'm ready to play them again? Not necessarily a trash talking way, but man, I'm ready to play that game again because thought we had them beat and it didn't happen. What's that game on the schedule?
I think mine would be Nettleton, because it's always like back and forth. Like we'll win 2 games, they'll win 2. And we were just on fire that night, but so were they. And we lost with like 3 seconds left by like 1 point. And like, I just wish we could have won that game.
Well, for me, it's kind of like, I don't really have that specific game. It's more like just all of them, because I feel like with most of our games, we were really close. We were right there. But last year, some of us would get down a little bit, I feel like, and so that would hinder our team. But this year, I've seen a change in our teammates, and to where even in practice, we're not getting down if we mess up, but we're just keep going. And so that's something that I think of is just every game to keep pushing. And I think that I'm just looking forward to each and every game. And I think, yeah.
I know I said last question, but I'm going to follow up on that right there. So is that lack of confidence last year, is that one of the things that you guys have really worked hard on the offseason to take it literally game by game? And if you win, don't get too high, and if you lose, don't get too low?
I think so, and that's something I'm going to try to encourage this year because, like I said, you can see it in practice how some of our girls, we definitely have more confidence. And last year, a lot of our teammates a lot of us that played, they were sophomores. And then we had Briley, who was a freshman. And then I was a junior, and we had 1 senior. playing. And so we were a really, really young team. And going from junior high to high school is a big change. And so them having that 1 year of experience and knowing what to expect this year, I think that will be a game changer for this year.
And I'm going to follow up on that and say I don't know how anybody that plays for Coach Fowler couldn't have confidence because they all have the green light. It don't matter whether they can shoot it or not. You know, I took this from Johnny Taylor. Hey, I tell kids not to shoot it. If they can't shoot, hey, they don't get to shoot.
Well, what she said that last year we had a big confidence thing. Half the team we wouldn't connect. We didn't have confidence. After every lose, we would just get into that mindset that we wouldn't win the next game. And that's why around middle of the season, we just kind of gave up. And then we got it back, though. And this year, I think we have better team chemistry. And I think our confidence is back, and we're going to be better than we were last year.
Well, I want to thank y'all for coming down. Coach, thanks for stepping in.
Not a problem.
Good luck to you girls the rest of the season, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Whitehall boys basketball with head coach Matt Williams leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Nigel. Thanks for having me, man.
Man, I'm glad to have you guys. First off, give an introduction of yourself and the players you brought with you.
Coach Matt Williams, and this is A.J. McCray. He's a junior, class of 2026. This is Brian Cowell Jr., freshman, point guard, class of 2028. And this is Tyrese Townsend, senior. He's one of our big guys. He's class 2025.
Coach, that 5A conference, is pretty tough, and everybody knows it's going to be one that everybody be looking at. So let's get some of your goals and your expectations coming into this season.
That's right. Traditionally, the 5A Central is the toughest conference, but the last two state champions have come from the 5A South, and it was an all 5A South championship game last year. And Lake Hamilton very easily could have been the state championship game as well. So our goal is to make the state tournament. There's actually 9 teams in our conference instead of 8, so that in itself makes it a little more difficult. And you got to be top 4, but we feel like each of the top 4 would be dangerous in the state tournament if they were to get in.
So let's talk about you becoming the new head coach of Whitehall. Let's talk about how the transition has been, in your new role, being the head coach there.
Transition has been really smooth because of these 3 guys right here, amongst those guys that are coming back. Me and Coach Hayes look different and maybe approach the game different, but we have a lot of the same views and feel the same way about the game of basketball. So I think it's been smooth. You can ask these guys if they disagree, but I've enjoyed it a lot. Blessed to be there.
Right. So with the transition, it's been smooth, but also what's been some of the challenges so far?
Challenges, I need some more height. This is about the biggest guy I got. So you got anybody bigger for me? That's one challenge. But no, Coach Hayes likes to play 1-2 zone and trap and get up and down. And I like to play more man-to-man defense in the half court and run more sets. So that's new for them. I also believe in 5 days a week in the summer. We're going to lift weights all 5 days. That's different. So things like that have been an adjustment, but I think the more that we do it every day, the more they look forward to doing it.
Right. So for the players, considering new coaching change, how have the camaraderie been amongst you guys? How's the chemistry been so far?
I think it was better. Like at the beginning of the summer, like everyone was like feeling like he was crazy, like when we was in the gym every day. But I think everybody been bought in more the more we've been doing it, so now we're really used to it.
It's me. I think it's good. I'm not from Whitehall. I come from Conway, so I enjoy it. I'm meeting the guys too, just like how he is. I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah, at first it was pretty different, but you could tell he wants to prepare us to get to the state playoffs. Yep.
Coach, I heard you say you have some of the same views as Hayes, but what are you implementing culturally to this program, to get them on the level where you need them?
I was blessed to learn under Coach Swift, was part of those 2 state championships, and probably Coach Swift's 2 biggest attributes are culture and accountability. So he has a great culture, and no matter who you are, your name on the back of your jersey, he's going to hold you accountable if there's an expectation on the team. And so I pride myself on doing the same thing. So if we say practice starts at 3 o'clock, it doesn't start at 3:01, no matter how good you are. And basketball is a year-round sport that takes a lot of skill development. So if you're not in the gym putting in time, then you're going to get a text message from me, and you're going to get some physical reminders when I see you again to get in that gym a little bit. So those are things we're trying to establish. But these guys right here, that's why I brought them today. They love the gym. These 3 are 3 of the last ones that leave every single day. And a lot of new faces, though. AJ's, like you said, from Conway, and Junior's just a true freshman. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And Tyrese is a track star, really, that we're converting into a basketball player. So it may take us a little while to get going, but I'm confident we'll be in the mix when it's all said and done.
So what would you want this team's identity to be? What would you hang your hat on?
I think naturally we're going to be able to get up and down because we're smaller guys that are quick and athletic. But I want them to learn how to be a little bit tougher because, you think Pine Bluff, you think of toughness. Coach Pennington has always had big, strong guys. Sheridan's got some physical guys this year. So our conference, Coach Hayes has a lot of really good athletes that he has in there. So if we're going to compete, we're going to have to be physical.
So when you talk about the mentality of this team, talking to the players right now, when you talk about the mentality of this team, what would you say the mentality is at this point?
I think we like very strong mentally. Like we getting better every day. Track we was on the track pretty much a lot, and that helped build our mental because that's really just a mental thing, and that helped.
I think that a lot of people doubting us this year, and us gonna show the work that we've been putting in all summer and show that we can compete with other teams in our conference. So yeah, that's what I think our head's at right now.
Yeah, I have to say the same. As long as we're staying consistent, I think we will be able to put a fight against the other tougher teams.
And also to the players, what's some of your personal goals you would like to achieve this year?
Was it like where like you make like all state? Yeah, like that's one of my personal goals. Of course, to win, you know, I want to get to the championship. You know, everybody want to go state. I want to get to the championship. And yeah, that's my personal goal.
Yeah, I just want to make all state, all conference, and go to the playoffs.
Like Coach said, our team isn't very big in size, and I'm trying to buy in to what he's trying to, get me to do, get boards. Yeah.
So, Coach, I heard you say you come from up under Coach Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you was to talk to someone that's just getting in coaching, what would be some advice you would give them?
Those two things I talked about earlier, culture and accountability, and getting kids to have an identity with a specific role. There's just because you have a lot of good players that are talented out there doesn't mean they're a good team if they don't understand their role. And so, like Tyree says, his role is very clear on our team. And so, there may be guys that are more talented, but maybe no one more important than him on our team. So, I would suggest that you identify those roles as a coach. Communicating with your players very, very soon.
I heard you said speed. This team's going to be dealing with some speed, so I'm considering that's one of your strengths. What are some of your weaknesses at this point, and how you plan on addressing it?
Like I said, weaknesses would just be this is our first year together. As I said, it's a 365-day-a-year thing, basketball is. And so we feel like year 2 and year 3 that I'm here that will understand what I expect. You'll see a lot of guys, Tyrese and AJ and Jacoby Edwards. Other than that, we're all underclassmen. We're all freshmen and sophomores. And so, we're under the radar a little bit. So, yes, weakness would be just our experience in general because of our youth. And then we have to get a little bit tougher, a little bit more mentally, physically tougher. Because I didn't mean to disrespect, but Benton's also in our conference. They're okay, right?
Yeah. So, I heard Coach say you guys are pretty young, underclassmen, freshmen. Talk about the leadership role with you all being so young, so to speak. Talk about the leadership role, leaning on that heavily.
Leadership, we take pride in it. I'm new, like I said, so I just gotta be kind of careful with what I say because I don't know them as much as everybody else do. But yeah, we getting better at that for sure.
With me being the lead guard, I gotta lead the team for sure and put everybody where they're supposed to be. But I think I'm gonna do a good job at that this year, and y'all will see. But just me being a point guard, they're just in my blood, so I gotta do it.
We established the leaders this year, and most people know them, so I think they'll buy into what they're saying to get us on the right track.
So, Coach, give us that key, that one key thing that, will help push your team to the next level this season. That one key thing.
Consistency. So I talk to them about it all day long. If you walk in the first 10 minutes of our practice, we look really good. But sometimes in stretches, we don't look the best. And so we can't do that in our conference. That's going to be an L. So we have to be more consistent. And if we do that, then I think you'll see us in the state tournament.
Talk about your non-conference schedule. I don't think we hit on it.
Schedule real light. We play Springdale first. And so now, I was at Springdale 2 years ago, and we got beat by Coach Swift in Jonesboro in the state championship. And so Coach Jeremy Price, he got escorted out of the game a little quicker than he wanted to against Little Rock Central. And so him and Coach Seeley are going to have to sit. And so they play some small school called Benton the next day. So they're going to play us first, and so that'll be tough. We also play Magnolia, who's a really good program year in, year out. We're looking forward to that. A lot of close games. Watson Chapel will be a crosstown rival we look forward to. Little Rock Mills will be a very physical, highly competitive game. And then the gauntlet that is our conference schedule. And I've told our guys, I'll be honest, I'm nervous because 5 of our last 6 in the conference are on the road. So we got to get up early in our conference schedule because that stretch will be very difficult.
Yeah, so that was going to segue into my next question. So how important is it for you guys to get a strong start coming into this season?
Yep, that's it. We go to El Dorado on December 12th, and we need to be 1-0 because El Dorado is probably a team that doesn't expect to go to the state tournament. So if we drop that one, we'll be swimming upstream the rest of the way.
Okay, Coach, with that said, man, we appreciate you all coming out. We're going to conclude on that note. Thanks for coming and giving us an inside look at Whitehall basketball.
Yes, sir. Can I brag on these two guys real quick? Just make sure you guys know who these guys are. So this is AJ McCray, and I think one of the best kept secrets in the state. Can really shoot the basketball well. Started out with pro skills this summer, and then ended up at Legendary Athletes. And this is Brian Cal Jr. He's our point guard, and he's going to play for the Arkansas Hawks this summer. But he was on the Under Armour circuit with Bryson Warren last year. But I think this guy's going to be a guy that you know statewide very, very soon. So I just wanted to brag on those two guys. And then we also have Jacoby Edwards, who's a human highlight reel dunking the basketball, 6'5". We feel like he's definitely a college player on some level as well. So.
Right on. Well, we appreciate you guys, and good luck to you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Okay, up next we have Farmington High School boys basketball with head coach Johnny Taylor leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having us.
Hey, man, thank you for coming. Right off the bat, introduce yourself and the guys that you brought with you.
Well, I'm Coach Johnny Taylor. I'm entering my 24th season, my 5th season at Farmington. Brought with me 2 seniors that both played for us last year. I'll start with talking about Maddox Teeter. Maddox is a 2-year starter. He was all conference. He was all state honorable mention. Last year, Maddox had 6 games in which he had 8 rebounds or more. Maddox averaged 8 points per game, shot 39% from the 3 and 86% from the foul line. He also averaged 5.1 rebounds per game. We just talked about Huddle. Huddle will stat, your efficiency rating plus minus. Maddox last year for us was a plus 22 on the season, which is awesome. It tells you he's doing a ton of things to get stats that help us win games. He did all of that and only played 20 minutes per game. So, one of the questions will probably be something about us moving up to 5A. I know our guys are extremely excited they're going to get to play more. Ultimately, put all this time and work, and then his averages would have really been crazy had he played more than 20 minutes. He's also signed with Pitt State, so we're excited about Maddox and his future with basketball. He's going to have a great career at Pitt State. Our other senior is Sam Kirkman. Sam's another 2-year starter, all conference. Sam made 74 threes last year for us and shot 37% from 3. Sam averaged 8 points per game also and 3 rebounds per game. Sam had 10 games where he made 3 threes or more. So Sam's a consistent guy for us shooting the basketball. Same exact stat. Sam averaged 20 minutes played last year. So he's excited. I know Maddox is excited about the fact that they're going to get to play more this year. These 2 guys' career record is 71-4. So you talk about winning, you talk about culture. Obviously, they've been part of that. It's been super stable with these guys. They're part of back-to-back undefeated conference championships, district championships, regional championships. They both played in a Final Four, and they both played in the state finals. So for us, we'll lean heavily on what these guys have experienced. Our other 2 guys that we brought with us are both juniors. Eli Schwartzman. Eli's a gym rat. He's extremely skilled. He will be our starting point guard. We're talking to Eli about facilitating, running our offense, being a fixer defensively. Eli's going to be somebody that's going to be asked to score the basketball for us. For us, he's had an unbelievable preseason, and he had a great summer. And then we brought junior Ben Rockwell. Ben's extremely athletic. He will replace the role that Jackson Berry played for us last year as far as somebody that we can run lob plays for. Ben, we're excited about his ability to shoot the basketball, extremely athletic, extremely intelligent. I think Ben is 6th out of 240 at our school GPA, which tells you, he's going to be an intelligent kid on and off the floor. Our 2 juniors, I credit a lot of their ability to be able to come in and play immediately to their AAU program that they play for, the flight program. Coach Trey Trumbo, Sean Silers, both have taught them to be great teammates. They both taught them offensive concepts, defensive concepts that they're able to walk right in and fit in with us. And they both have understood how to work, and that's why they're going to both, these are going to be 4 of our starters. And then some guys that we didn't bring, Zach Miller and Ethan Kennedy both are going to be kind of a utility guy that's going to play in the post, guard people's post. Zach is an undersized post that works extremely hard. Ethan Kennedy is a 6'5" kid that's super skilled. Both of those guys can shoot the basketball. And then Press Taylor is a freshman. He will get minutes at the 1 and 2, and we're excited about him and his development. And then Keegan Roberts is another player that, if you've watched us play the last several years, we run a lot of stuff where we go to the left side of the floor. Keegan's a left-handed point guard. So those guys are just right now, if we said, here's our 8, what I'm the most excited about is we've got a 9 through 15. This has been our most incredible preseason that we've had as far as competition, as far as being able to mix teams up with our top 15. We now have 3 guards, where in the past we've had 1 or 2. So that's going to help a ton.
Great job breaking all those players down, by the way. I wanted to mention, because you lost a 40-point score, obviously, and I know it's probably just an average fan that would probably be like, oh, that's very stressful just because of what Lane did for you guys. But is it maybe, I guess, a little bit of weight off just knowing that you're going to have so many different guys that you can rely on, that you're going to have to spread it out a little bit more this year?
Well, for us, every year we go in and you set roles, and then I think they change as the games start, and you start to figure out what you're capable of and not capable of. And Lane's jealous when I talk to him because of how many good players we have, and he got better every year with guys that got better with him. And Eli is such a tremendous passer. I compare his ability to see the floor and read a double team. We are asking him to do something that he's not ever been asked to do. In our system, we put a ton of pressure on the guard, and you got to see that this summer if you watched us play. And he handled that great, and I think he's excited about the opportunity to be thrust into that role.
Yeah, and I was just going to piggyback on that. I did have a chance to see you all play at the Big Miller Teen Camp, and I think you guys went 6-0.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you guys went 6-0 in the teen camp, and it was very impressive. So just having a chance to watch you guys play, you moved the ball well. So what all do that entail as far as in practice to get those guys to move like that?
A ton of 5-on-5 stuff. We talk. We're constantly, Coach Johnson and I talk basketball every day. So the best way to get better at basketball is to play basketball and not do drills. So for us, we're doing a ton of competition with 5-on-5. Where we're fortunate, we have 30 guys in preseason, so we have 2 ends of 15. Everything is make it, take it. So on our end, these 15 are going against each other. You keep it. We're averaging around 80 offensive possessions a game in practice, to where we're able to chart and see our offense efficiency rating. We do that 2 times a week. So they're getting 80 offensive reps of what they'll do in a game. Whereas I think if you look or you go watch a lot of people practice, they're not doing that. For us, that's huge, because that fast forwards their progression of end game. We live by the slogan, don't complain about what you allow to happen. So I'm not going to be frustrated with Eli if he makes a poor decision with the ball if I haven't given him 1,000 reps doing that.
So for the players, just being able to be inside of a system like that, how does it help your game, and how does it helps you all chemistry? From what Coach said, being able to get all those reps.
Yeah, so the start is every day, we're excited to come into practice. Everybody knows that we have a practice plan, and we know who our team's going to be at the beginning of the week. And, you get with your team and you're ready. You get everybody prepared and you're ready to go compete every single day, and just helps everybody's chemistry, like you said. So whenever season rolls around, it doesn't matter what rotation or who's in the game, everybody has played with each other for the last however many weeks in preseason, and everybody's ready to go. So just being able to put whoever in the game and be flexible when everybody knows every position and every spot, no matter what play it is.
Just to kind of piggyback off that, we have our teams every week, and it switches up week to week, so we all get to play with different lineups. We might have 3 bigs with the lineup one week, 3 guards. It switches up, so we learn every position and every play, and we're just prepared for every game, every situation.
They covered it pretty well, but truly it is nice just to get to play with everybody. And learn the position, because I run the one mainly, but when I get another guard on my team, I get to learn other positions, and that helps me a lot, just to even know the play more in depth, just to get to run it from the corner, or run it from the 2, and get a shot for Maddox if he's coming off the play instead of I am. So it's just really nice to to have that aspect where, especially when we get to games and somebody gets in foul trouble, somebody's hurt, we don't have to stress, we don't have to go into that week and be like, oh, what are we gonna do? Like, we've already worked on that. We're ready for like whatever's gonna happen.
Like Coach Taylor said, we get about 80 live possessions each practice, so that really helps us build chemistry with our teammates by just knowing like who likes to back cut, who likes to sit in the corner and be ready to shoot. So it really mimics a live game very well and gets us ready for the season, especially because, you know, we're playing pretty much every day, and just being able to know what everybody likes to do, everybody's habits and stuff like that.
So, you know, with that being said, you guys are transitioning from the 4A to the 5A, and some consider the 5A as a pretty tough conference. So what's your all mindset with you all being able to, you know, conglomerate, to have that chemistry? What's your mindset to be able to attack the 5A, you know, this year?
I think that every game we just want to go in and play the best that we can. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We're gonna obviously scout and prepare. Our coaches do a great job preparing us for games and getting us scout reports and film and all that. So we'll be prepared, but we just want to go and reach our full potential for our team. Just whoever is ready to go that night, and we'll be ready to go every night. Doesn't matter who we're playing.
I would just say we just got to enjoy the process. It's a day by day, practice by practice, game by game. Just enjoy the process.
I think we just got to control what we can control, and we'll be having a good time, and, you know, just getting preparation down in practice, and I think it'll be good competition.
Yeah, as you said, the competition is going to be great. Just as we lean on each other and just trust in our practice that we put in and all the hard work and everything, just not to worry about it, but just know that we've put in the work and just get ready for season.
Coach, we heard a lot about the strengths. What are the weaknesses that you see on the team that you guys have really been working on in the summer and the fall, you know, gearing up for the start of the season?
Well, for us, every year we're looking at our strength training, trying to change our bodies, trying to gain any kind of competitive edge we can. I don't think anyone knows what their true weakness is until they start playing games and figure out, because practice is super competitive, but it's also, there's enough stoppage, there's enough breaks and film work that you can correct things. And when you throw it up and you start, you know, the famous quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So we won't know what exactly. I know that we played a really good summer schedule, and we fixed a lot of the things that I thought would have caused us problems this summer.
So Farmington, the community, I know they are real big on basketball and the support. So how important is it for the community to support you guys? You know, even though you guys have been on that run, like what Coach said, Final Four run, final run. So talk about how important is that community support?
Well, we've got an unbelievable community, and I know Coach Johnson would say the same thing. And it's a top-down, really good administrators that, you know, we call them and say, hey, we need to change this game from a Monday night to a Tuesday night. Can one of you guys run the clock? Can one of you do the gate? Can somebody show up and do the shot clock? And it always gets filled. We obviously are spoiled because we have our athletic director is a former coach. Our principal is a former coach. Our dean of students is a coach. I mean, everyone involved understands what goes into it. And then we're very lucky because we have such a good, tight-knit group of coaches. Everybody's pulling for each other. And then the community just rallies behind anything with the school. You look at the success that our programs had last year. You know, our athletic director likes to recognize people at the school board meetings, and it's full every single week because we have so many good things happening in every sport.
Okay, well, Coach, you kind of summed everything up for us. I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in the matchup showcase. come November 15 and 16. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys coming. It was a pleasure interviewing you guys. That's it? Okay, so yeah.
Thank you guys,
And,
appreciate it.
Thanks for giving us the inside look. Okay, next up, we got Farmington High School girls basketball with head coach Brad Johnson leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having us up here.
Man, it's a blessing. It's awesome. With that said, give an introduction of yourself and the girls you're here with.
My name's Brad Johnson. I'm the head girls basketball coach at Farmington High School. This is my 16th year at Farmington, so it's been a pretty long ride to this point, but you know, it's been a fun one. I've got 4 seniors here with me today. We'll start down here on the edge with Marianna Adams. Marin's a kid that's she's been a 2-year, going on 3-year starter for us. She's a kid that's that averaged 12.5 points a game last year for us, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. She shot over 35% from the three-point line, was a plus 60% shooter from the field. She's committed to go play at Pittsburgh State University. She'll sign in November. Beside her here is Zoe Brashears. Zoe's a kid, another kid that's a 2-year returning starter for us. She's a kid that shot 65% from the field last year. She's a plus 30% three-point shooter as well. She set our school record for shot blocks at just over, I think 107 was the final total that she finished with. You know, she's a kid that plays inside outside. She's committed to the University of Minnesota, and she'll be signing with the Golden Gophers in November. Beside me right here to my left is Morgan Ewer. Mo's a kid that came off the bench last year for us. We kind of like to refer to her as our sniper. When she walks in the building, she's in range. She's a kid that plays fearlessly. She'll play real hard on the defensive end. She's got a little dog in her, is kind of what we say. So Mo's a kid that we're looking for big things out of as she adjusts her role and kind of changes things over this year. She's another kid that's going to sign to play a collegiate sport. She's a 2-sport athlete. Mo's going to go to Ouachita Baptist University and play softball. Beside her is Gabby McBurnett. Gab's a kid, came off the bench for us last year. She's another high percentage kid. Gab's a long, lengthy, athletic kid, plays really physical at the rim. She can guard all 5 positions on the floor. She's a real heady kid and just kind of understands how to run our transition from multiple spots. And, you know, she's a glue kid that you can just kind of lean on, makes really good decisions, gets people in the right spots, creates for others, and does all the things that impacts winning. And along that line, just kind of talking about these 4 kids, it's a special senior class. It's a class that's large in numbers. We'll talk about some of the other ones here in just a little bit that aren't here, but it's a class that knows how to win, and that's my greatest quote and just greatest compliment that I can give to this group is that they're a group of winners. They've won their whole life. Their record in varsity basketball at the high school level over the last 2 years is 75-2. They've won multiple state championships, and the fun part with working with them every single day is that you don't know it just by seeing them. They carry themselves with humility. There's a tremendous work ethic and a grind to try to be the best they can possibly be. And I've said this probably 10,000 times, but the coolest thing about them is they love to celebrate the success of everybody else. And so I think that speaks to our team chemistry. It's a fun group to coach, and we're looking forward to having an outstanding season.
Coach, that's impressive, 75-2. Just to piggyback off that, let's talk about that state championship run. Talk about it, and then heading into this season, the goals and expectations.
Well, I think, anytime you make a run like that, it's tremendously special. Every run that you ever go on is unique, and it's its own story. For us last year, we were trying to really challenge ourselves and establish our program to play beyond classification. We wanted to be kind of identified as being the best version of ourselves, being considered one of the best programs in the state of Arkansas, regardless of classification. We wanted to challenge ourselves at a national level, and really just push to be a great basketball team, both individually and collectively. And it was a fun ride. I think you don't ever expect to go on a season and go 39-1, right? That's really kind of unheard of. And things worked out for us, and I thought we played at a high level. But the coolest thing about the whole season is we were probably playing our best basketball at the end, and we peaked at the right time. In regards to expectations, for this year. And our kids will kind of probably elaborate a little more on this. We're kind of unique in the fact that we don't walk in at the beginning of the year and set goals. As a matter of fact, we don't talk about championships. They'll tell you this. We've not one time talked about conference championships, state championships. That's not something that we really, I don't want to say are concerned with, because we're competitors. But for us, there's a process. There's a lot of value and growth and trying to work and be the best team that we can be collectively. We want to try to help develop players, and for the kids that want to go on and play collegiately, we hope that they come through our program and have that opportunity. But we want a great experience for every kid that comes through our program. We want to feel like that wherever they started from in the beginning, that at the end they've really grown as a player. And so we approach every single day as just trying to be the best version of ourselves that day, and then wins and losses will kind of take care of itself from there.
You mentioned the record last year. I know we were talking about it outside. That one loss was to a Duncanville team that was okay. I guess you could say okay enough to finish top 15 in the nation.
Yeah.
But that was the only loss for any of the Farmington girls teams, basketball teams, 7th through 12th. So I know you guys. We talked about to teams about different words that they use for their culture. I know you go by the standard as the standard. So just kind of talk about that, not just mainly for your senior high program, but for your basketball program overall.
Well, first of all, when you have that, like I said, we went 98-1 collectively as a program, and the year before we were 96-3. That don't happen by accident. It's a collection of a community that loves our student athletes, and they support at a very young age, and they're all bought in. It's a collection also of having great kids that really value the legacy that was set before them. We've had great players come through for a long time, and who have kind of passed that standard of excellence down, and they don't just talk about it, they demonstrate it, they model it in the way that they work on the court, in the way that they carry themselves, and the stuff that they do off the court, what they do in the summer, and then the overall commitment to being a team. If you talk to these kids, they're going to have a very clear identity of not just who we are, but they're going to know the kids that are those 9th graders, those 8th graders, those 7th graders. I've got these two right here in our 7th grade practice every day. You walk in and there they are. And so they take time out of their day to come in and observe practices. And, it's kind of a trickle-down effect that you get. And so it's really, really special. It's a unique culture that these kids and the kids that's come before them have created, and it's something I'm really blessed to be a part of as a coach.
This question is more to the ladies. You guys are all seniors stepping into new leadership roles. And I'm going to start down here with Gabby. As Coach said, you came off the bench a lot last year, but it sounds like, your roles instead of, being behind the fence, you're going to be a little more cowgirl on the saddle moving forward. So if you can just start and talk about your role moving forward, and we'll go all the way down to Marianna.
I'm really excited about this year. It's going to be different, but being put in this new role, I got to just work hard and help my teammates around me, and I have support from them, and they have all my support, and they just trust me, and that's really helpful with having my back. So
we always talk about everybody having their role, and so when everybody buys in to their role and doing what they're supposed to do, it helps the team build a stronger connection so everybody can do what they're supposed to do.
Like you said with the leadership role, like he said with us being in with the junior high kids, definitely it has helped a lot with all of us being together in this role. And it starts with the younger kids, like you said, with our record last year, with us coming in and just reflecting on what we had done in the years past with what everybody who came before us had done. And so that's been one thing that's been fun, is showing all the the younger girls, what our standard is and how they meet that every day going into practice.
Yeah, like Mo said, we all have roles. We know our role. Your role, when you have your role, you have to be great at it. And even if you don't like your role, it's what the team needs. Every day in practice, every day, every game, you do your role and you do it to the best of your ability.
So, I'm big on how do you sustain? How do you keep that mentality? I mean, you won the championship last year, then you come right back, do it again. So, most teams, once they get that, when they get that high, it's hard for them to come back down. How do you stay humble,
Our mentality every day is come into practice and get 1% better every day. And so going into a new conference this year, everything that we did last year doesn't really matter anymore. And so just going in every day into practice, trying to get 1% better and being the best that we can be is really how we look at it.
Yeah, like she said, get 1% better every day. And we're all really bought into this program. We have a saying, family, forget about me, I love you. And we're all just a culture, team, we all love each other, and it's just really fun.
Yeah, we're bought in every day. We come into practice and we know what we're going to do. We have that practice schedule set. And so we come in, we lock in, and we just do what we need to do and get it done so that we can get better and prepare for our season, which we're super excited about this year, being in the new conference. It's going to be really good competition. And so, yeah.
I feel like since we're expected to win, I feel like we use that as motivation to everybody wants us. So we try to just focus on us and how good can we be, and 1% better every single day in practice.
Talking about being in Class 5A now, and this is no slight to the 4A1 whatsoever, but now you're playing with Mountain Home, you're playing with Greenwood. It is just stacked. So, like we've been talking about, you're playing a tough non-conference schedule. That's something that you guys are not immune to. You've done it before, but just talk about that. Again, playing against the Mountain Homes that have tons of college prospects on them, and also Greenwoods and just that conference overall.
Well, I think the first thing that you have to address is the amount of respect that we have for the league that we're going into. You're looking at, the 5A West is you got the 3-time defending state champ, in that league, and then you look at Mountain Home and the level of talent they have, and you can go down and look at tradition-rich programs. Siloam throughout history has had great teams. Van Buren's a team that has kind of gone up and down in classification, and they're hard-nosed. Alma's got great tradition. Harrison's got great tradition. Russellville's got great tradition. I'm sure I'm probably leaving somebody out, but you can just kind of go down the row. We have a tremendous amount of respect for that. We also have a tremendous amount of respect for just the 5A classification in general, top to bottom. We played several of these teams in the past in non-conference, but at the end of the day, they're going to get our full attention, and so we've got to go every single day to try to improve. We want to try to meet that challenge. We are excited about it. The things that we're trying to do to prepare on the front end is load a non-conference schedule up, and we try to keep the iron sharpens iron mentality a little bit. So we're going to go out and we start it in the summer. We try to chase the best teams. Across about a 4 or 5 state region from Texas to Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, up into Kansas, and we try to load ourselves up in camps and travel basketball situations where we're playing against the elite of the elite. Our schedule in the non-con is we put together a national schedule this year. We're going to go out of state for 3 different events, and we're heading over into Tennessee and playing into a Women's Basketball Hall of Fame hosted event, and there's some of the top, 10 player, top 5, top 10 ranked players in the nation in that. When you start looking at who's who in the best players and best teams across the Southeast, you're going to find them in that tournament. So we're going to go challenge ourselves there. We're going up into the state of Missouri, and we've got a date in December where we're playing up in Springfield, and we're going to play Staley High School, which is coming down, and they are a loaded historical powerhouse up there. We're going to a Battle of the Border, which is, again, it's another out-of-state event, and there's 2 or 3 big-time powerhouses coming in to play. So we've kind of have a motto of we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime, and it's not because of us thinking we're better than anybody. It's really 100% about us trying to go out, test ourselves against who we think are the top caliber teams, find out really quickly what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and then ultimately prepare ourselves for a gauntlet, because that's what the 5A classification is, and that's what the 5A West Conference is going to be.
Well, Coach, man, that's a heck of a resume and a heck of a schedule. So we wish you all good luck. That concludes our interview. Appreciate you coming out, giving us the opportunity to get an inside look at Farmington girls basketball. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, I do want to throw this out there because I just hadn't had a chance to mention them. But, we had some kids, obviously, that couldn't be here with us tonight. Some of them because they're multi-sport athletes. But, I think as you're looking, as our season goes forward, we got to talk about some kids like Casey McCumber, who's a kid that, you saw in the state championship game. She's a kid that's going to play college basketball at Pittsburgh State. We've got a freshman that we're moving up named Easton McCullough, who's one of the top 10 players ranked-wise in the country. I think she's sitting on 21 Power 4 offers at this point, going into her 9th grade year. And then, we've got a collection of other really good players in Kate Pauley, Josie Dillard, Reese Thornton, and then we got a sophomore coming in named Sadie Morrison that we think has got high level basketball, in front of her as well. So our practices are really lively. They're unbelievably competitive every day. And, again, it's the adopt iron sharpens iron mentality. Those kids are competing, going head to head every single rep, every single day. And hopefully it'll give us a chance to be competitive and have a good year.
Well, absolutely. Appreciate that. Congratulations on your back-to-back, and we wish you all success in the future. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Brown, I'm glad you brought
Okay, next up, our last team on the list. We have Southwest High School girls basketball with head coach Marquita Myers leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing? Thank you for having us.
Yes. So if you could, introduce yourself and introduce your players you brought with you.
Sure. My name is Marquita Myers, and this is my first year at Little Rock Southwest High School. Prior to that, I was at Little Rock Central as the assistant girls varsity coach, where we brought in our first state championship ever in school history. Before that, I was the assistant coach at Jacksonville High School, and prior to that, I spent 5 years at North Little Rock Middle School as a girls head coach. To my right here, I have junior Natalie Jones. Natalie is she's a 2-year letterman for Little Rock Southwest. She's just a phenomenal guard. We still trying to carve out her role, but she plays multiple positions. She can shoot the ball very well. Next to her, we have Diaria Harris. She is also a junior with couple years of experience. She started out, they kind of both got thrown in the fire as freshmen, so I'm really looking forward to them playing this year. To my left here, I have Nequisha Taylor. She's our senior today. Nequisha, she just possesses a whole lot of leadership. You know, she's a intelligent young lady. She's just fun to be around, and we're just trying to just push her out there to kind of carve that role as being a leader for our team this year. She's well-spoken in practices, and so we've really been having a good time just trying to just help her to navigate through that process. Next to her, we have Kamora Garcia. She's a sophomore for us, and Kamora, she's just a sponge right now. She's just a smart kid, phenomenal student athlete. She's just one here. I mainly brought her here for the experience, you know, and also she's just a sponge, so she's just soaking it all in. So these are the ones that I brought with me today.
Right on.
Yes.
So, Coach, with that being said, let's talk about last season, and let's talk about coming into this season. Give us some goals and expectations.
Okay, well, last season, obviously, I was at...
I mean, not last season, but, you know, let's talk about you coming into this season and give us some goals and expectations. Sorry about that.
Okay, I got you. Okay, last season, obviously, we finished Southwest at the bottom, you know, so our goal really is to just get better every single day, you know, and also to not finish last, just to be up in front. We're trying to change the narrative here at Little Rock Southwest. Some of the expectations I have is just we've been changing the culture, the mindset of winning, you know, having a winning mentality. And that's not just, you know, on the court, but that's off the court as well. So those are some things I'm trying to implement into our program, you know, just being consistent, just being confident. You know, they are a resilient bunch. You know, we are in one of the toughest conference, which is the 6A Central Conference. So they've been bumped around and bruised up for, you know, the last 3 years. So my goal this year for them is to just get out there. I want them to just feel what success feel like, and that's to compete at their full potential. And I believe they can get that done.
And talking about making them feel what success can feel like, I know you just kind of broke down some of the things that you want to get accomplished in year one, but you know, with Coach Williams last year, and we had the Lady Tigers in earlier, you know, one state, but you know, there were some bumps along the road,
yes,
and really
absolutely.
just heated up there. So
Absolutely.
that's really a good learning lesson that, you know, for your girls, that yes, you can have some bumps along the way and still get to the top of the mountain. So
Absolutely.
is that ultimately, I know you got to walk before you can run, you know, worry about getting to the state tournament and everything first, but is that kind of some things that you're trying to implement with them?
Yes, that's some things we definitely trying to implement in our program. You know, just kind of, you know, overcoming that that deficit of just that losing mentality. So we do know that we're probably going to take a few, you know, on the chin, but it's how can we progress and get better the next day? You know, we want to learn from our competition, but at the same time, when we meet them the second round in the conference, then we can be more fully prepared for them.
Coach, first off, congratulations on first head coaching job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Second, this question's really more towards the ladies, and I'm going to expound on what you said when you were introducing each one of them. I want to start with, is it Lakeisha?
Naquisha,
sorry. Naquisha, she said that you're the senior that she brought. She said that, you're a leader. You're super smart. Talk to us about the role that you're embracing as a senior leader. And then I really want to hear from the other girls here. You each were brought for a reason. So just kind of talk about the roles you're embracing as you've moved up a year and with the new coach.
Yes, I'm really embracing my role as the senior. Well, I like to say head senior, no shade though. But I'm really embracing it. I feel like the past few years we haven't really had a senior to step up. I came in this summer with a mindset that I wanted to be captain. I wanted to be that leader for my team, and I feel like I have stepped up. I'm still working on stepping up. I'm still growing as that leader. I'm also growing as a player, seeing how I could benefit my team. But right now, I feel like the best way I benefit my team is stepping up and being that leader.
My role, as she said, I'm a sponge, so I'm trying to learn more things, get better as I grow in basketball, and yeah.
Even as an underclassman, I do try to step up also. When I know how to do something and another underclassman needs help, I will step up. Yeah, I tend to step up as an underclassman.
My role, I'm not really sure. I'm everywhere, to be honest. I be a leader.
Diaria she's a tri-sport athlete, so she's just getting back with us from playing volleyball, which she had a phenomenal career with that. So she's still trying to kind of hone in, and we're trying to get her just acclimated to the culture and everything. But she's gonna be a heck of a player. She's very athletic. She's long. And she's versatile, so she'll be able to shoot it well. She's going to be able to slice. She's going to be able to have the ball in her hands. So we're looking for her to have just a phenomenal season this year. Yes.
Coach, what's some of the strengths of this team so far that you see?
Like I said before, I think they're a resilient bunch. Being on the opposite side, coaching against Little Rock Southwest, I saw how they fought every night, going up against the best teams, in the state, Conway, North Little Rock, Central. So in my opinion, I think we are very resilient, and they're coming together. They're trying to find that chemistry. If you're going to ask about weaknesses, I think we're trying to find that chemistry, because our makeup of our team is just, we have a sophomore, we have a few seniors that really hasn't had that experience, that game experience. So I think they're a very resilient bunch to be able to come back and, from hardship and still be here with us today.
Yeah, so I heard you say from North Little Rock, Central, Southwest. So as of right now, what's some of the challenges you are facing as far as with the transition,
Well, Little Rock Southwest, we kind of get a bad, rep, but we have some great kids and we have some great teachers and we have a great staff, so just getting those kids to kind of come to Little Rock Southwest. Some of the challenges we're having, like a lot of the schools that's in Little Rock, we don't have just a per se feeder. We have feeder schools, but they can go to any school, Parkview, Little Rock Central. So it's really kind of difficult to kind of bring in those talented athletes. But I feel like after they see what we can accomplish, and it's going to take time. I understand that. But those are some of the challenges that we're facing, just getting athletes to kind of come and just to buy into the program and buy into what we're trying to establish here at Little Rock Southwest. Yes,
sir. So to the girls, let's talk about the chemistry, y'all. The chemistry over the summer, that you all have gained, and let's talk about what is that one key thing is going to take for you all to get to the next level.
I think just a better work ethic. We need players that's going to come into practice ready to play, ready to work out, ready to get stronger, ready to condition. They not going to, get too much back talk. We just need players that's going to step up and do what they supposed to.
I agree with what she said. We do need players who won't make excuses about everything. We haven't really been playing together for that long, so it's a lot of stuff we still need to learn about each other to build that chemistry. So we just need to learn how each other play so we could become a better team.
So, Coach, when you're talking about building a culture and implementing your strategies, how do you plan on doing that, coming into this season?
Well, I'm starting from a holistic approach. I have to not only coach the physical part of my team, but we're also coaching the mental aspect of the game. We're breaking down different scenarios and strategies and whatnot, and also I'm big on heart. I'm a defensive person, so we coach them up a lot just by having just heart and that tenacity and that grit to just go out there and just fight. Regardless of what the scoreboard look like, we just gonna go out there and we're gonna be the best version of ourselves, and we're gonna fight to the very end until it goes off. So I'm huge on that. To answer your question.
So a lot of recruits, a lot of players, they be looking to get in those non-conference schedules where you're going and play some of the tougher teams. What are your non-schedules looking like, and how you plan on implementing that in your system?
Okay. Yes, we have. We have a few. Farmington just left, so we will see them in a classic. We've added additional tournaments and everything to our schedule because we're not shy of competition. We know that we're gonna have to play against those type of teams anyway, in the conference. So I'm not one to back down from competition, but I got there kind of later in the summer, in July, so I was able to get a few teams on our schedule to play. So we definitely added more classics. We definitely added more tournaments. So, and I'll be able to take these young ladies, on the road a lot because, you feel what you need to feel when you're on the road, in my opinion. So I think, we're going to be all right non-conference.
So last thing, for parents, players that's looking for a home, looking for an opportunity to expand their game, what would they be getting if they would decide to come to Southwest?
They're definitely going to get skill development. They'll get the best version of me, and I'm a humble person, so my goal is for these young ladies to not only just be great players, but also to be great citizens. So I believe in, again, just coaching the whole person. They're going to get championship style practices. I hope they think our practices are good, but practices that are fast-paced, practices that will put them in different situations to get them prepared not only for the high school level but also collegiately if they decide to go on and play college basketball. So.
Okay, with that said, Coach, we conclude on our interview, and we appreciate you all for allowing us to get a sneak peek inside Southwest girls basketball.
Thank y'all for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, that wraps up 3 fantastic days here at Big Miller Basketball Media Days. I want to first off thank First Community Bank for their incredible hospitality that we always get every time that we come here. Also want to thank American Pie Pizza, Rock and Roll Sushi, who supplied today's lunch, and then also Count Porcula for the lunches that they provided all 3 days. And, of course, lastly, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. You can watch all 3 days on the Natural State Sports Network YouTube channel, and also subscribe to the Arkansas Preps Weekly podcast. Right now we've got weekly coverage of the football that is going on, and then as basketball season gets rolling, we will also have coverage on that as well. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, the Natural State Sports Network on YouTube is where you can watch all 3 days of this great event.